Question. I don't know.
In this lonely ass world, it's getting colder. I'm not going nowhere if I cannot take my boat there. My mind was bred a little different, yeah, from my own past. If I see heat, why the fuck would I wanna go there? Mama, I make you smile. Mama, your little nigga came from wildin'. Mama, always got in trouble, I was shouted. Mama, now I'm staring at shit. Mama, I'm the pilot. Mama, if I want something, I'ma go get it. Mama, swim with the sharks, piranhas, and fishes. Mama, it's so hard down here, God is my witness. Mama, I know where I'm going. Mama, I'm a fan. It's hard not knowing who is really gonna be there for me. I wish you could be here to see me the day I start touring. Shit be on my mind every second when I'm not recording. I'm waking up conversating with the Lord every morning. I mistakenly took the wrong path, I had to rewind. I fumbled trying to move too fast, I had to keep trying. Growing up I got in trouble, told myself to keep lying. So much stress be building up, swear I be needing me time.
Grand rising to the people of the Morning Mac Show. What y'all doing today? How y'all feeling? It's gonna rain today. It is. You know how I can tell? I can tell in this head, up in here. Not the fact that I was out last night in the night air, right? For some reason, my grandmother ain't never lied. She said the night air will have you all congested and all that up and in and stuff. And that's because they do most of the dirt in the night with the chemtrails and the air just changes. And it has been a proven fact that the air changes. I'm going to show y'all that on Wellness Wednesday. That's going on in the daytime. I need the sun shining on my face in the daytime. I need that. I mean, today is a beautiful day because I'm on this top side of the soil. But I need the sun still out and a little bit of the heat. And because rain, I don't care. I don't know if it's just me, but when it rains and a little bit of rain get on you, it chills you to the bone. You get wet, you be like, you know, that maybe that's me because, you know, sugar do melt in the rain. So, but before I get in here, let's get in this. Stocking stuffer, great stocking stuffer. Great for any enthused young reader. There's a profanity in this book, so parents beware. I should have had an advisory sticker on it, but I'm sure it's nothing that your children haven't heard on The Simpsons or Family Guy, yada, yada, yada. You get it. You understand it. This is a period piece. It's told through the eyes of a child, but not for a child. You understand what I'm saying? This is stuff that a child saw shouldn't have seen. So if that child had some Molly Moss, sea moss back in the day, this could have been a different type of book. It could have been shades of green sea moss from Molly Moss. See, she needed some sea moss loving in her life. She needed the love that the sea moss give our bodies in that child life. So go and get this book, but you got a chance to get it with some sea moss. That's right. For a limited time, Shades of Blue and Molly Mall are offering a special. Or you might not even want the special. But you get some Molly Mall, sea moss, you get Shades of Blue, you get a whole $10 off. Y'all saw that? This is my arthritic hand. So if you didn't see it again, I ain't doing that shit no more. Ow. Oh, $10. Ow. Yes. 5 on the book, 5 on the sea moss. But go ahead and deal with it. And he is selling out fast like he always do. He'll never have my lemonade when I want it. He'll never have my tea ready when I want it. Because somebody's always snatching it up. And the gelatinous form, I call it the gelatinous form. It's the sea moss pudding. That's what I'll call it. Pudding, because it's like that consistency, that texture. Yeah, he makes it, he sells it, and it goes fast. So for a limited time, you can get you some Molly Moss sea moss and shades of blue, or you can just get shades of blue, or you can just get Molly Moss sea moss. But the choice is yours. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this because this is where it's at. Hey, y'all remember that song? Flashback. Anyway, woo! Let's get into our show today and our panel. Let's see who's in the building, who's in the house with me. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
Hey.
How you feeling?
Woo! I can feel, but I feel the pressure in my ear. I feel that the barometric pressure change. It's gonna rain today. I can feel not just, I can smell it too. Whenever my nose is unclogged, but my ear, like, it feels like I'm underwater. Could be from the sinuses, but that's it's a ticker for me. So
a little cold. I hope it ain't raining today. It's a little cold. I mean, it ain't bad right now, but tonight it's gonna be crucial because if it's chilly like this, it's gonna be crucial tonight. So I hope it's not raining because that's gonna be ice. It's gonna be a problem on the road. Because I think it was 30, 38 or 37 last night, and it reached like 40 or below. It wasn't like dead ass 30 degrees or nothing, but it was somewhere between the upper 30s last night. Cause it was cold. I didn't even come out and smoke or nothing last night. I just stayed my ass in the house.
It felt good at 3:45. I jumped and took my bath and my shower because around here that's the best time to take your baths at 3:45 in the morning because
everybody ain't actively using up on it. Yeah. That's why I'm so glad I'm in a unit. Like, I'm so glad I'm just in a solo unit. And I ain't had that problem really when I was in an apartment because it wasn't a big building when I was in my apartment. But bruh, at least you know your time. You can get yours.
Yeah.
But y'all helped me realize something for real. I was just looking at the just watching you do your intro and everything, and I realized I'm around some bosses. I realize that I know people. I only know people that are on some type of movement. Like, I don't, not a lot of people know friends that wrote a book. Not a lot, have a podcast. Not a lot of friends know people that do music videos, do events, do like photography. I'm liking that. That made me realize that, yeah, okay, I'm around some people.
Well, thank you for the compliment. But you were boss too. I knew you was something the first day I saw you. It was something about your shine. When I first met you, I was like, oh, he ain't from around here. And you carry yourself differently. And you talk differently. And I really took a shine in and liking to that. I said, oh, he was raised right. I said, whoever raised him, he was raised right.
That's my mom. My mom helped with some of that, but I gotta give that to my grandmother. I gotta give that.
Granny,
a lot of that is me. I will say I gotta give myself some credit because a lot of that is just how you're supposed to just be towards people. I never really, just like we was talking about the teen stage. I didn't have a teen stage. I didn't just start getting angry or start being selfish because I hit 13 and 14. That shit never made sense to me. I didn't want to, I don't know. Like, I ain't nobody special, but at the same time, I'm just not about to. If you need to get dragged or something, then that's okay. Cause that offer is there. But other than that, I'm chilling. Shit.
Okay, see, I know that's right. Yeah. And by you being the oldest, it's like a lot of onus on the oldest child, and a lot of responsibility they throw on us. That's like we supposed to be adult children.
15 years different. Yeah, but I realized that I watched my mom grow. It wasn't just her. When I passed her age, like when she had me, and I know what I was dealing with, I know what I was seeing out, in the world, and trying to learn. I can't imagine having a child at the same time. So I watched her grow just like she watched me grow. It wasn't just the parent looking down at me; it was me watching her develop and stuff as well. So even though I know she's my mom, it kind of gives that. I don't want to say big sister energy, but I know fully my mom. I always lived with her, but it's just knowing how young she was always like made it feel different.
Yeah, exactly. I know
Yeah.
exactly how you feel because I live the same way, Trey. The same. So
Mhm.
definitely. That's probably why I took such a shine into you because we are different but similar. Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give
So
you
that's
that.
that's
Definitely give
probably
you that.
that's what that was. Blessings
Mhm.
upon blessings. Good
Yep.
morning, Joey Lee. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Hey, what did
morning.
I miss?
Oh, nothing
We
so far. I was just talking. Just first 10 minutes or so. So we just vibing and seeing how we doing and just asking each other how we doing and stuff. But what I will say, what you did miss before you jumped on was just me simply reflecting on the fact that people that I know like Molly and Reese, I realized that everyone I'm associated with has some type of movement. So I was giving her what's up, Malik? I was giving her grace by just acknowledging the fact that everybody I'm surrounded with has some type of movement of their own. I don't know a lot of people with side ventures and podcasts and comedy and all of that stuff combined. So just giving them their good grace for what they do in their own right. What's up, Damien?
What's up, y'all? Love y'all. Good to
Ain't
see you.
nothing
love
love you
you.
too. Mm-hmm.
How you feeling this morning, Joey Lee?
I'm feeling great.
Okay.
I got my shipped shirt on. I did that for a little while after
You
I
got your what
retired.
shirt?
Ship
Shipped.
Yeah,
with
That's
it.
where you.
Oh,
isn't
oh,
that like
oh.
That's where
isn't
Okay.
you
that like
actually shop for the groceries and then bring them to
yeah
their house.
yeah like the Instacart for what they call Instacart over here. I think they have shipped like a little higher up north, if I'm not mistaken.
What
But
you
You in
doing
yeah, I
with
know I
ship?
heard about that.
you in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So they have ship over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shit,
I
I,
make your
never
money.
heard of it. But thank you for clearing that up because I thought you said something else. I was like, wait
yeah.
a minute.
Shipped.
I knew
That's
what you meant. I
Well,
can see the grocery
when I
store making sense.
retired, I had like nothing to do, and I was like, okay, I'll try this and Uber and all these other things. And
Well, I
then
mean,
I
if
started doing
shit, it's
comedy.
cool. If the thing that
okay.
you are doing is making you some money, then why not? Shit, you
Yeah.
know, why not?
And wrote my book, of course, um, and got some other things I plan to do in the future.
What's the name of it, if
So
you don't mind me asking?
I left this kind of stuff behind,
What's
DoorDash, that kind of stuff.
what's the name of your book? What's the name of your book, if you don't mind me asking?
It's God's Message to Men, and
Okay.
it's subtitled Strengthen Your Relationship with God, Your Spouse, Your Children, and Your World.
Okay.
I know
How
that's
many
right.
pages is your
I'm
book,
not mad at
Joey?
that. It's a thick book.
Mine is 100, including the about the author. Let's see, before that.
What up, Slicky Woo?
What's up, Slicky? I gotta
Okay.
catch one of your streams, Slicky. I be looking for them.
So it's not
I
a
be trying
big
to catch them
book.
live.
Not
It's not a
big.
big
It's
book.
167
What
pages.
up, LA Josh?
Good afternoon.
169 pages.
You mean
Okay.
good morning?
169.
What
All
time
right.
zone LA on?
Show it up
Yeah,
and let
yeah.
the people. You can send it now. Damien Seaman, it's your turn. All righty. How you feeling today, Damien?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you guys.
Oh,
I
well,
love,
yeah.
I mean, for me, this is now my new fucking habit. So now I think I might have to go to like a rehab for Althea.
Nah, you don't want to
Right.
do
So
that. You don't want to.
the only reason why I get on this show is to see your pretty face, Althea. That's the only reason why I do it. My wife's all jealous. She's pissed off at me right now. She just went back to bed because I said, I got to see Althea, Connie. I got to see her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling today? We know Joey is in Ohio feeling great. We know Trey is in Maryland feeling great. Where you at feeling great?
I'm just outside of Springfield, Missouri, and just booked 2 more shows, and we're going to do the Dirty Santa and His Elf at the Robin's Nest in Aurora, Missouri, on November 14th.
Okay. November 14th.
December 14th, sorry.
Oh, December. Okay. Because I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Okay,
Sorry, I was wrong. It's not December.
December for okay. That's in a few weeks. That's right after Sauce in the City Super Comedy Game Show reunion in Vegas.
That's right.
That's right
That's
after
right.
that. Okay. I'm gonna be busy. Shows back to back. Well, oh gosh,
Hey,
I'm
and
gonna be
you know what?
busy.
There's not a greater feeling, Althea, when you know that you got shit that's going vertical and you're going back to back to back to back.
Well, there is a greater feeling when you're making money stack on stack on stack on stack. That's the great feeling too. When you're making
Well,
money.
I do that before the show.
Oh, okay. Today, y'all, we're gonna talk about your kids. I want to see pictures of all your kids, of all these little crumb snatchers in your life. For those of y'all who have kids,
hold on. I'm gonna send you a picture, Althea. Let me break out of here. I'll come right back. Hold on.
Okay. So Joey Lee, your crumb snatchers, the kids, Trey, your nieces
I'll
and
show you a
nephews.
picture of my sister. I'll show you a picture of me and my sister. I don't
Yeah,
have no kids.
Okay.
I'm getting it here real quick.
We want to talk about.
Trey ain't claiming them kids, man. Come on, Trey.
We want to talk about the
Man,
kids
some of
today.
these old heads been trying to put them joints, man. When an older joint want to push up on you, an older woman will push up on your ass, boy. I try to tell one, you barking up the wrong tree. I try to tell her nicely, I don't care about that. And I told her what it was, and she was like, I don't care about that.
She
like
just want
her
a pretty
last
baby. She want a
boyfriend the
tall.
same way, huh?
I definitely got that number in case I need some bread, though. And I bet you she give it to me. Shit.
I bet you she would. You got to give her what she won't give you. You know, fair exchange is no robbery. So if she want that,
I ain't having to rob her. She already been hitting that cash app up. I ain't gave her a damn thing yet, so I'm doing good.
They get 30 days.
Shit, you know.
fair exchange. Oh, okay, that's nice. She want a baby, huh?
I ain't said she want no baby. I know she wants some of this. So
She go
I don't know,
with
you
the
know. Yeah, she can pay for this shit herself. She got
Damn,
it real.
on Google Images. He's stupid.
You know what? I had a friend, right? Back in the day, that's all he dated was older women in the government because they spoiled him and paid him. He used to say, long as I got my weed in my bed. And these women kept him in weed and bed. He was pushing their whip and everything. He was a kept man and he was fine with that. This particular lady, all she wanted was a baby though, because she was getting older, right? They messed around and messed around. She finally got the baby, and then she put the joker out. She cut it smooth off.
Kids till I'm ready.
She said, "You ain't got to do nothing for this child." She said, "I got everything I want."
You'll never be able to separate yourself. Like as much as a woman can say that she you know, I just want to have your baby, whatever, and I just want to go on about my life. Nah, you always gonna forever be attached.
But this lady, Jackie did this, but this lady did. She was on something different. She did, and I was like, wow. So it was just, it was amazing to see that, and I was like, wow. And his son grew up wanting nothing because she had all the money. She didn't need him for nothing, but the only thing she did not have was the child. And I guess that made her, you know, fulfill, you know, her dream part was fulfilling, you know. So I can understand that. Children, when you get them, are your world. You don't really recognize until you know you have one. And I remember I was scared. I was crying. I didn't know what to do. And I was so scared and crying because when I had my son, it was on the passing of my grandfather. And when I thought that my granddaddy was going to be there, I didn't fear nothing because I was like, well, no matter hook or crook, my granddaddy got my back. You know what I mean? You had somebody on this earth that'll ride and die for you, and you know that they will ride and die for you. And I had that in my grandparents. You know
what it is, Malik.
You know, to rise up that can really wreck some stuff up. You know, not the little but somebody that would tear down. You know, and that was that man. And then
what's up, Phoenix? Lying in the joint, my bad.
Oh, good morning, Phoenix. Good morning. Oh,
Happy Tuesday.
Hey, man. Good morning, Brenda. Is that Brenda or Phoenix?
No, Brenda and Phoenix. They're both in here.
Oh, okay. All right, I thought my eyes were tripping. I said, wait a minute.
I see Phoenix. I know who that is. No, you know.
So
No, I'm here. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
We were talking about those kids. I was telling everybody it's Turn Up Tuesday, turn up with the children. Put them kids up front. Put the children up front because we're gonna talk about kids today and turn up and how great they are and how and so much joy can cause some people so much pain. But I'm just thankful that I had more joy than I had pain. Come in. Hold on, y'all. Somebody knocking at the door early in the morning.
Well, at least they ain't peeping in your window.
See, that's what's up. Lock it in.
How's everyone today?
That's $5 to my Cash App, please. Good morning, panel.
Blessed and highly favored.
Good morning.
That's good. I hope
Hi,
everyone's
Brenda.
blessed
Look like
well.
everything works.
And you don't own
What'd you
lock
say,
it
Joey?
in. You don't own
Huh?
lock it in.
Yeah,
Right.
No, you
trust
don't.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't.
Yeah, trust
No,
me.
you own let me finish.
You
You
don't.
own let me finish.
Yeah, I
you
own
don't.
Lock It In too. It's on my show. Again, just like you comedians around here talking about stealing jokes, don't be known as a thief. Joey, what's going on with you?
Shit.
Hey, like I said, I delved into Cash App and I sent you the information you needed. Hopefully you got it.
Yeah, it's on hold, so we'll see what your bank says. Good morning, Althea.
Okay.
Good morning. I come back to hear about piracy. Who is being a pirate?
Damien is thinking.
Do you have
Damien,
Randy and Phil there with you?
What'd you say?
Do you have? I see Randy and Phil's picture. Are they there with you?
No, that's a slide from one of the shows.
Well, they
Randy.
both have rubber chickens now, so
Yeah.
they're doing the same bit. I don't know who stole from who.
No, you got to go back and look at the videos. The videos tell it all. So
I think I've got one of those large rubber.
Right. You don't want to be out there just, thinking that it's okay to just do that kind of stuff. Us producers, it's the same thing with somebody that produces something. You can't just take it and decide that it's yours. That's not happening. But Althea, back to your kids. I was a great mom last night. I was a great mommy last night. This little boy, he was like 12 and he got lost. He got on the wrong bus. And so he got lost and it was dark outside and he ran up to me and held on to my leg like I was his actual natural born mama. And he was like, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. I don't take the bus usually. And it broke my heart. And I don't know. My son is 25, but I immediately turned into a mom. And I got on the bus with him and I took him at least back to the starting point and then I put him on the bus home. And kids are so joyful.
Did you call
No, his mom called me because I told him to have, when I put him on the bus, I told him to have his mom call me. And I took a picture of us together and I put it in his phone. And I gave him my phone number and I told him to have his mom call me when he got home. And she did.
That is so sweet because if you did that here in DC, if a child come and grab you, a 12-year-old come and grab you, they sticking you up. They feeling you, they patting you down, and say, you will give me the money, and they're going to take your phone and your driver's license, so they're going to have your phone number and your address, so where they're going to call and be ready to come and rob and steal your car. Even though you on a bus, they was like, somebody got a car somewhere.
Hey, that's Baltimore for you. That's Baltimore.
Kudos to you, because ain't no 12-year-old gonna be feeling that loss now unless they not like us. They not like us.
I guess not. When I come to visit, I'm gonna be like, no kids, nobody get close to me because it sounds dangerous out
there. Somebody just run up and grab you and hold on to your leg. You better say help.
It helps to wear a mask. It helps to wear a mask. It helps to wear a mask. That way they can't see you.
I'm totally calling Phil. I'm be like, Phil, help, help.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I would have called the little boy parents right off because they might have had a car. They might have been able to come give you and him a ride home. I was like, you know, I'd have called. My mind thinking I would have called. Do your mama know where you is now? Not saying the last.
Home. He was coming home from basketball practice, and I assume by the way his eyes was big as saucer plates, I think he didn't want to call home because he trying to do it for the first time by himself, and he don't want mom to know that he done fucked up. So
maybe, but I'd have been like, where you at? Who you with? If something would have happened to him, they'd be like, the last person was seen was this lady. The picture in his phone.
And that's why I wanted to put my phone number and my photo in his phone because yes, I was the last one to see him.
Yeah, and the police would have run right to you, suspect.
And I would have been like, I dropped him off on this bus with this bus driver because I don't think I don't be taking all the notes because I'm not finna end up in handcuffs over nobody else's kid.
You be up there with Diddy. Diddy can't. She said Diddy practice. But Brenda, I'm glad that you was a good Samaritan.
Yeah, but kids are beautiful little beings. I don't want no more, and I don't want to raise no more. But they're beautiful little, packages of wonder and delight.
Yeah, you definitely turn up on Tuesday. So that's why today I said turn up Tuesday. Share the pictures with your rugrats of your life. We're talking about kids, and and daddy. To me, when we talk about daddies, especially with daddies with little girl, that's big to me because I had the best daddy in the damn world. It was my granddaddy, and for me to be a little girl, and I just love daddies. I wish everybody had a granddaddy had a daddy like my dad. It'd been something different. He gave me confidence. He gave me security. He took care of me. He showed me how a man is supposed to take care and treat a woman. He was the head of his household. He showed me, and when I looked, I was like, dang, I want a man like my granddaddy. My aunt told me, she was like, they don't make him like him no more. I said, they got to make him. They got the recipe. They got to make him somewhere like granddaddy. A good old strong country boy. So, and he was honest, and he was and don't get it twisted. He was a warrior. I mean, he will fight, and he stood up for right, for wrong, and he didn't want to be disrespected. He didn't disrespect nobody, and he came along at the time during segregation, when they used to have to put cardboard in the bottom of their shoe and walk 17 miles to here and there and all that. It was a different upbringing than the way that kids are now today.
I put cardboard in my shoe and walked.
Just to what? Just to see what it was?
No, because I had holes in the bottom of my shoes. So I had to put cardboard in there because my mom was like, I just bought you those. And I was a little tomboy, so I was outside tearing my shoes up and running them into the ground. So
how'd you get a hole in the bottom of what the hell you step on?
No, you just wear them and wear them and wear them. I did a lot of running when I was little. It's not the same as when I'm older.
I did too. I never had got a hole in the bottom. But I did tear the whole rubber sole off, like your tongue, your shoe be flapping. If anybody had the best shoe that was flapping, I went outside anyway. They see your toes, your socks, and the shoe just flap, flap, flap. So I am guilty of that. The side, the rubber stuff coming off, but I never had just a hole in the bottom where a piece of cardboard could fix it. I
Oh
must have
yeah,
been.
because the top of the shoe was still good, but the bottom, like I would walk like 5 miles to go and go to the party, or we was me and my sister and my uncles, we were outside kids, so
And we had bikes.
that's it. Yep.
No,
Yeah.
Joey, you had a Schwinn, didn't you? I told you, Joey grew up. You privileged. He didn't have a Huffy. He was on that Schwinn.
Yeah, it was gold with a banana seat.
See,
I still remember that.
see, I know Joey. See.
Ape hanger handlebars look like a Hardley.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, had the handlebars just like you described.
I had a tandem
Ape
bike.
hanger.
Who else had a
Oh.
tandem bike? Anybody else had a tandem bike?
Yep, that's
I
how
didn't
I
know
got
that.
laid.
I didn't know that.
As soon as I got her on the
didn't know
bike, I was
swim
going to
bikes
drive her
were
to her
exclusive.
house, and I'm going to get some of that.
I don't know
I
what
didn't
a
know
tandem
swim
bike
bikes were
is.
exclusive. I know
A
swim bikes
tandem
are
bike
like
is a tandem bike is two bikes meshed together so two people can ride
Oh,
at
bicycle
the same time.
built for two. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
No,
You got
Had a tricycle like that.
you had a what?
And who's
A
ever
tricycle.
driving the front has total control. The person in the back is just pumping power.
okay, no, we don't know nothing about them bikes out here. No,
So was swim bikes supposed to be crazy expensive or something? Because I've had a swim bike.
yeah, but back then, yeah, well, it was it's fancier.
Oh,
It was it's
Oh. This was like a regular bike.
yeah. Now it is,
Oh,
and so
oh.
yeah, but it was a little more than the Huffy or the bike.
Well, I can
made
tell
out
you
of
this.
mini parts.
I can guarantee you this. Joey's Schwinn with the handlebars and a banana seat right now would be worth probably $50,000 if it was
oh
in mint
yeah,
condition.
they're in demand. I wish you still had mine.
Like Louisa said, I had a tricycle, and I rode my tricycle to the wheel fell off. That right wheel, and I was riding the two-wheeler. That's how I got my two-wheeler from that same damn tricycle, because I just leaned to the side. It was
Oh no. Oh no.
no, that was the only bike I had. I do not know how to ride a bike. I don't know how to swim, but I can roller skate. So,
It's never too late to learn how to swim.
child, I swim like a turd. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop. Yeah, but yes. So today we're talking about the kids, and what prompted me to talk about the kids in society is a couple of things. The violence that's on the kids up here, and then the sentencing of the two girls that was in that attack last year. They beat a man, drug a man in the alley and beat him to death. He died. 5 girls. So how old was those girls? Like 12 and 13. They were really young. And I'm just like, what goes on in a person's mind where they think that was okay, that was fun to beat an adult to death or to beat anybody to death? And then I also wanted to bring up the news story where the little boy right here in Waldorf, they found he had to be rushed to the hospital because they said there was a group of boys in the bathroom playing, and the boy got hung up on the coat rack, and his zipper and coat was choking him, and he got choked to death. Had to end up going to the hospital.
The second grader, Reese?
Yes, the first grader was he 7-year-old, 7. Okay, yeah.
Second grade, they said the fourth graders hung him.
Right, a bunch of boys that playing in the bathroom. Why would you? They said, oh, so that's the story came out. They didn't say. They said they put him on a hook, and he was up there. The zipper was choking him. That's the same. So they came out that they actually tried to tie a rope around his neck, or was it with his coat? Louisa.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I was waiting for an update, but
Yeah,
that's what the initial saying was, that he was hung in the bathroom.
yeah, they hung him up on the damn coat rack. Now y'all all know them little things on the back of a door. Is that strong to hold up a whole person? I mean,
Little, if he's little.
A kid. Yeah.
and they probably was playing and being bullies, being messing with the, and then why did they pick the boy up off the coat hanger, off the rack? And they saw the little kid, choking or whatever. They was gonna run off and let the little boy leave. So one of them ran and got an adult. The same way they picked him up and hung him up there, all of them could have got together, picked him up, and lifted him off the rack.
Mm-hmm.
Children these days don't have what we had growing up called critical thinking. We had critical thinking. We was thinking of doing something. We was inventing something. Like Molly Lord's son, he gonna have so much love pouring in him every which way. He gonna think of inventing stuff. He gonna think about doing something to save humanity, not just doing something and tearing it down.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be a critical thinker. We're gonna make sure that all the aunties and the uncles and all the unks and OGs gonna make sure. See, that's what it means when they say a village raising children. The child needs everybody around them love and support, not just his immediate family. But my child, my next baby, is going to need the support of Louisa. Going to need the support of Uncle Molly, Aunt Brenda, Uncle Trey, everybody. Uncle Joey Lee. Joey going to teach him how to do this.
I'm going to make him laugh.
Yeah, the love and support. That's what we got to get back to, y'all. Community. Then we wouldn't have these rogue sets of children stealing, robbing, killing, and destroying. You might have some still in there, but it'll be more of the good kids that find the bad kids and whoop their ass.
Well, I think the kids.
You come in our neighborhood and you do something. You stole old man's red and attire. Oh, you the one. Peppermint, don't come in our neighborhood with that mess. It was community.
Well, I think the kids should be kids, and my kids come from a blended family.
Let me see your blended family. The two youngest ones are high yellow. Molly, you can pull it up. I sent it to you. How many kids you had? 4 kids?
Yeah, 4 biological, but I adopted 4 more.
No. So the adopted kids are the ones that's mixed.
No, they're white.
So 4
biological. My 2 youngest kids are half black and half white, and they look very white. But my wife, she was mixed too. So I mean, they don't have what you'd normally think a black person should have. But my 2 youngest, and Molly, if you pull it up, I'll point out which 2 are my mulatto kids. And now they're grown. They're 25, 24, 34, and 33. But this is when they were kids.
Stuff on the adopting part. I like the adopting part. That's always cool.
If you got extra love to give, that's always a good thing.
Well, I felt it was my obligation because I had resources that their parents didn't have. So I just brought them into my house and said, okay, I got this.
That's great.
Don't worry about it. I got this.
I see it. I'm not to save it and send it over. And on that case, Reese, y'all talking about, they already came out and found out that it wasn't racial or anything. They ran the cameras. The kids was in their horse plan, and they pulled them on top of something, and he was hanging. He couldn't get down, and they couldn't get him down. They didn't leave him in there. They ran to go seek help because they couldn't get him down. And by the time they got back, his breathing and stuff was messed up. And they ran the tape to make sure that the kid's story fit what they were saying, and the boy agreed. They were just in there playing around, and He got hung up there. They couldn't get him down. He couldn't get down. They panicked. They got help.
I'm glad that it wasn't
That's
anything.
what actually happened. You know?
Yeah.
And Molly, that picture I sent you, the two older ones, they are white.
Wait till I share the pictures, man. Wait till I share the pictures.
Younger ones are mulatto.
We can talk about once the picture come up.
All right, cool.
Then you gotta keep bringing it up.
Okay, so we got the 411 with the story. Thank you,
There's
Molly.
another news story that I was just chomping at the bit to bring here. I saw it on the news that this lady got arrested and taken to jail because her 10-year-old was walking to the store by herself.
Oh.
A 10-year-old walking to the Dollar General by themselves got this woman a year in jail.
Where was this
Well,
at?
when I was 10 years old, I used to walk down to the Dollar General, whatever store it was, and I could take a note from my mother or my grandmother and go buy them cigarettes or beer when I was 10.
So where was this at, Brenda?
Oh, I don't recall. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Shoot,
Google it.
He's 11.
When I was 10 years old, that shit was common. You'd go down, you get cigarettes and beer for your parents. Because they give you money.
Please put that comment back up. Marvin Thomas says she should have got locked up. Why, Marvin? The boy is 10 years old. It's a different day and time now.
How old should you let your children go to the store? If that's the case, 7-Eleven would never have no business. Because them little thieving critters down at the 7-Eleven in the store stealing, running out the store at 10 years old. They're probably supposed to be in school somewhere.
Yeah, what time was it? That's it. That's all that matters to me. What time was it?
That's a good point too.
If the sun was up, people were active. It didn't matter.
Hold on real quick, y'all. We forgetting that these children go to school by themselves. These children have siblings. Some of them have other responsibilities. I can see it right, okay. But you can't sit there and say the mother got locked up if it was during the day.
Yeah.
It was in Georgia.
And things that don't make no sense.
At what time do it say?
It was in the daytime. It was in the daytime, and she had to take his little brother to the doctor, and he went off and walked, I think it's like half a mile to the store. And when she got back home and got situated in, the police came to her door and put her in handcuffs and drug her off to jail. And the charges was she willingly endangered a child and child neglect. Now, at the end of the
bullshit, man. And when I was 10 years old, we could go run.
Damien, you can't do this. No longer is going to be interruption time on the Morning Max show. I'm tired. Tired of it. Respect the people. Like when you talk, we are quiet and we listen to you. So you have to be quiet and patient and know when to interject. When it's time for you to talk, we would say, okay, Damien, go. If not, you know what Molly gonna start doing? Muting your mic.
Marvin wants to come up on the show and tell us what he's talking about.
Okay, he's welcome to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I was just bringing it to your
My
attention.
boy, Real Talk with Marvin. Did he say that? You said you wanted the link? I just saying said she should.
No, he said it in the he said it in the comments. He said, "Bring me up and I'll tell you." But I want to finish what I was saying. When my son was in the 8th grade, he was but only 10, 9 going on 10. And they wouldn't allow him on the bus because he was like a quarter of a mile. We weren't a mile away from the school. So they wouldn't let him on the school bus, and he had to walk to school almost a mile at that young of an age because they wouldn't let him on the bus because they said he didn't live farther than a mile. And it was just shy of a mile. Like I could walk past the bus stop. It was on the other side of the street. So I don't know what this lady, she's fighting the charges. So I'm going to follow the story and see what happens. But
yeah, DC, you got to walk. Yeah, that's how I grew up in school. We had to walk to school. We ain't had no buses. So if it snowed and we DC, we still had to be on school on time. We see Maryland out, Virginia out. So we always had to walk. That's normal to us. But what I think they talking about is the fact that she left him home. When your parents leave you home and they tell you don't leave the house, stay in the house, it seemed like he was home during school hours. She had to take the other kid to go get checked up on. He left the house without her consent and went to
No, no,
7-Eleven. They probably
no, he had her consent. It was a thing. It was like she was gonna go and take the, like, she didn't know it was against the law. She thought at 10 years old he was good. Like
no,
me, like
he taking the
12.
kid to the other kid at appointment. Where's the kid going to the store? Then where he going out there? He coming back home. She said you left the kid in the house while she took the other kid to go to appointment. I mean, he should stay in the house till I get back. But if he go off to the store, we used to have Chauncey and all that pick us up. If you late for school, they grab you and they try to lock your parents up. Now it seems like they taking it a little more serious because kids don't be going to school. They be missing a lot of days, but that's the only reason I see
I'm
why they
pretty
probably
sure
lock her up.
it wasn't a school day, Molly. Like it was just an instant. She had to go somewhere, and the 10-year-old was like, I want to go to the store, and it's something that he'd done. You know, she let him do because nobody thinks it's against the law.
I wonder why did he get stopped this time then? Something else. I'm
gonna follow the story
now.
I'm gonna follow the story, and I will definitely update y'all because I thought to myself I'd have been under the jail because my son, I didn't even allow him to walk to the store. He just did it on his own. Like he's outside playing with his friends, and they want to go to the store. They went to the store.
Yeah, when I was little, all I had to say, Grandma, can I go around to the corner store? And she would give my permission. All right, y'all go ahead. And we went together, it was a bunch of us. And I was the oldest, and I was younger than 10. So you got, with a bunch of other little ones, we holding hands, crossing the street, going around to the store. Everybody had a 50 cent or, and I was the, look out for your sisters, look out for, your cousins. And we would do that. I mean, so I don't. Something else got to be.
I don't know. It's something that's missing. It was not told in the story, or we missing.
Did the boy show up with a black eye?
No.
On his neck.
Hey.
I mean.
So I saw this story that Brenda's talking about. Brenda's absolutely correct. It's nothing you're missing. She is really, to me, it looks like it's two people. It looks like somebody is abusing their power. If you can hear me, it looks like somebody's abusing their power because there's no reason that woman should have been locked up other than somebody is just trying to make a point.
Good morning, Bees. I miss you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you good.
Did y'all hear anything I just said or no?
Yeah. You said Brenda ain't really missed nothing. Basically, she told us everything that basically in the story. It's just somebody's abusing their power and basically
exactly because they. So here's what happened. They offered her to drop all the charges, but she had to admit she did something wrong. And she said, "Hell no, I'm not admitting I did something wrong because I ain't doing nothing wrong."
Well, I guess they're saying when you leave a child unattended, the legal law for age is 12. You're not supposed to leave a child under 12 home alone.
Actually, it's different in all the states. And so on the news program, they said, this is a prime example. If you have kids around that age, to check with your state, which is how old you can leave them home. Like here in Nevada, at 11, you can leave them home by themselves. So, I just think I'm with Beast. I think somebody got his panties all in a wad, and now they're calling for him to be put on suspension and investigated because why you stopped the little boy? It was just a normal regular day. He wasn't doing nothing wrong, right? Why did you stop him in the first place? Like, what were you doing where you would just stop a kid and just be like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know.
The lady in Westlake, was she in Westlake? It's so many. This
Is
crazy.
that
I
in
typed it
Georgia?
in. I'm trying to.
Okay, it was in
it
Georgia.
happens so much. It's weird. Okay, Georgia.
Well, this one's like a big it was like a big thing, so it should pop up at the top of Google, because her, like most parents, don't know that they did nothing wrong. You just have the police show up at your door and drag you off to jail.
Is it a white lady?
Uh-huh.
It look like a white lady.
Well, there's two things.
I found the clip. I'm gonna share with y'all.
And even the little boy said, told the officer, I didn't think it was against the law for a kid to walk to the store. Like, no, like who knew?
Yeah.
I mean, anything under 10, I would question, but I'd be like, how far is the store? There'd be questions, but at 10, I don't know.
Shocked to be arrested in front of her children. It was anger and frustration, of course, because my children were having to witness that. All because her then 10-year-old son was spotted walking alone in Mineral Bluff, Georgia, a town with a population of about 370. It's really not even a town, hardly. It's not a super dangerous or even dangerous at all stretch of road. Brittany Patterson lives less than a mile from town with her father and children. On October 30th of this year, she had to take her eldest son to a medical appointment. Her youngest son, Soren, didn't want to come, she said, so she left him at home. Then she received a call from a police officer.
So when you got that phone call from the police officer saying, hey, do you know your kid is in town? What did you think?
I said no. I didn't know he was in town. I was not expecting them to say that, but I wasn't terrified for him or scared for his safety.
The police officer drove Soren home, she says, and made it clear it was problematic. Brittany didn't know where Soren was. At that point, Brittany thought the ordeal was over until officers showed up that evening to arrest her.
They asked me to put my hands behind my back and all that stuff, and I realized what was going on.
Brittany was taken to county jail, booked, and then released on $500 bail. She's now facing a misdemeanor charge of reckless conduct. The arrest warrant saying she, quote, knowingly did endanger the bodily safety of her juvenile son. If found guilty, she could face up to 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine. The DA's office didn't provide us with a comment. Local police declined to issue a statement, and we did not hear back from Child Services. Prosecutors asking Brittany to sign a safety plan before they'd consider dropping the charges, according to her lawyer.
We want to witness you downloading the app, GPS app to your son's phone. Okay. And then you've got to check on where he is. Really? And he's got to let you or grandma know where he is at all times.
But Brittany and her attorney are unwilling to accept this deal.
This is not right. I did nothing wrong. And I'm going to fight for that.
The story is striking a nerve as technology inundates our lives, giving parents more control over their children. So how much freedom should kids still get?
Like, are all parents going to have to put GPS on their child?
And when I asked about the law in Georgia, when it comes to kids being able to be on their own,
that parents get to decide for their children unless it is unreasonably dangerous.
And Brittany agrees it should be a personal decision.
Part of it is knowing your neighborhood and knowing your area and what your level of comfortability is with each child.
An assessment Brittany made about Soren and hopes the DA will as well.
Yeah, I guess the only thing she could get in trouble for is not knowing where her kid was, I guess. But even in that, if it's up to a personal choice, I don't know. What y'all think? Personal choice or danger?
I'll go last.
Okay.
I mean, I'll put it this way. The way my wife has told me is that at a certain age, you can leave your child home for a certain amount of hours. I think for a 10-year-old, it's like 4 hours you can leave them alone, whatever, by themselves.
Not in Maryland.
It's not in Maryland?
Nope, it's got to be 12.
No, go ahead.
It's got to be 12, okay. Well, still, I mean, I don't know. For me, your child, it's your decision as a parent. Now what they're telling her is they have to download an app that the government will now know where their child is at all times because they don't trust them. I kind of feel that's out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? That's overstepping, in my opinion. I'm not going to sit there and now, because my child went to the grocery store, to get some bubble gum because he wanted to go and didn't tell me. You know, that's something I discuss at home and fix at home. I don't need the government to be involved in that. But you know, hey, I would tell them fuck no too. I wouldn't let them have. I wouldn't put no app on my child's phone or none of that. I'd tell them I handle this at home. Y'all have a boat day, go catch a criminal. That's what I say.
Okay, who's up next?
I respect that. My boy Marvin just came in as a guest, y'all. We'll let the guest pop in.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, like I said, I've been kind of following y'all lately. You know, through Marlon anyway. You know, I've been following y'all guys lately. But like I said, this is just my opinion of what I'm speaking about now. When I say the mother should have got locked up, the reason I say that because you got to understand, there's levels to things. You know, kids out there, comprehension, there, suave as far as street knowledge and things like that. You got some kids, like I said, I'm in DC right now as we speak. And I'm looking right now at kids look like they're 9, 10, 11 years old. They're at the bus stops. People are grabbing these kids up, snatching their ass up, throwing them in vans, and still sex trafficking, organ trafficking, doing all this crazy stuff. The times when we grew up, you know, back in the days, like I said, when I'm gonna say a little story. When I was incarcerated as a young kid, 11, 12 years old, when I was in Boys Village, they used to give us cigarettes. Now, 10 minutes, you got a 10 or 11-year-old kid that's incarcerated, and you feed them cigarettes. It's unheard of now, right? So you understand, some kids back in the days, they was more street suave. You know, they knew what to do. You know, their parents told them, hey, you do this. When you go here, you watch across the street, you watch people, you say no to the person that's trying to give you candy or money. A lot of kids are not on that type of level. Now, when I said that lady should have got locked up, because the first thing, if somebody grabbed their child up and snatched their child up and took that child off, she'd be on, oh, I'm looking for my baby. Oh, yeah, you know, my child is gone. You know, no, but you let your child go out to this candy store. We can't do that nowadays. We live in different times. Once upon a time, we can go out there and call, keep the window. You remember, if some of y'all probably same might used to be, you can wind down your windows in your car, leave your car wide open, and you can sleep in your car. Nobody mess with you. You can't do that shit nowadays. Excuse my language. You can't do that. So you got to understand, kids now, you got to understand the level. Even though that kid is 10 years old and Lord said you can do this and Lord said that, that's why kids are so messed up now, because they took everything that we as parents, they took, you know, our power out of our hands. You can't touch your child. Your child gonna divorce you if they don't want to. All this crazy shit. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand, when you send a child off to somewhere and that child don't come back, who's that they gonna fault to? Who's they gonna fault? They're gonna say the parents had to know where the child was at, even if the parent was at work or just go down to the corner store and just like the brother said, somebody said, but when he was 10 years old, they had a note, just like me. You get a note to the person, my mom want to buy some cigarettes, they give it to them. You can't do that nowadays. So it's a different time and age that we're living in that you can't do certain things. And as parents, we got to be accountable for the things we do. As soon as that child get missing, we want to hoop and cry and get Channel 5, Channel 9, and 8, and everybody to come and help us out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you're right about that.
Good point. Before we go to the next person, I looked up the joint. It said there is no legal age that a child can be left home alone in the United States because every child matures differently.
No,
you know what? You summed it right up.
Lord Merlin wouldn't let me leave my child home. Said he had to be 12 years old.
I was going to finish. It said it is against the law to leave a child home alone if it's put them at risk. I mean, like you got to leave them food or something. Like you can't leave them stove on or just something crazy. But
well, I know.
I guess it's ways around
coming up. Well, it was 12.
The rest of that says, hold on, put that back up, Molly, please. The rest of that says, so a problem with our community is that, you know, we don't read the whole thing there, but at the end right there, it says, there is no legal age that a child can be left home in the United States because every child matures differently. However, it is against the law to leave a child home alone if it puts them at risk. If you have a mature child and it doesn't put them at risk, you are good, but that's a personal choice.
I thought you was gonna read some I didn't read. You said some things you don't read as black people. I've read that part. I said, Reese, if you let me finish, and I read that part. So I thought putting out.
I didn't hear the however part.
Oh yeah, I did.
But maturity, responsibility, comfort, all of those things you have to decide personally. Because if all of those things apply, that real talk, I forgot your name, so I'm gonna read the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All the stuff that Real Talk said is true in fact. However, it doesn't matter if you're a helicopter parent to the hilt. If somebody's gonna take your kid, they're gonna take them because you can't be on them all the time. Hold on, but
I respect that. Yeah, true.
also, last night when this little kid ran up to me, I'm sure his parent has told him not to talk to strangers. And I could have been a horrible person and drugged that kid off somewhere. But the kid has to, it's a personal decision. It's not a government decision. That's my opinion. Who's
Exactly.
next?
But the government took the power out of the parents' hands, so the kids can do what they want to do, and then the parents suffer the consequences if something happened to that child.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
real
that's in
pain.
every consequence, right? That's like if something happens to your child and they're 16 years old, you're still responsible. And it seems like they get stupider as they get older, really.
And that's why I like everybody have a different opinion on the outcome or how they feel it should be, So we heard from Beast, we heard from Marvin. I like to hear from other people. Do y'all feel like this mother should be arrested? How y'all feel about leaving y'all 10-year-old child to leave at home or walk to the store? I think it's okay depending on the area. They only had 300 people, but can we hear from you, Joey, or somebody else?
I agree with Real. When we were all growing up, things were different, and we didn't wear car helmets when we rode bikes.
That's right.
When we went trick or treating, we didn't worry about needles and razor blades and drugs and the candy. And the parents, there was still a lot of people raised in a nuclear family with a father and a mother. But as time has gone on, some things have crept in, like I mentioned, drugs have increased, kidnapping. What do they call that? It's not kidnapping now. It's trafficking, human trafficking, of small children. The knee-jerk reaction is, okay, we need more laws and regulations. And as we've made more laws and regulations, then the parents don't have control anymore. Like I said, there's children calling 911 on their parents. There's children who are saying, like he said, divorcing their parents. There's people that are saying, hey, I wish my parents never had me. I'm going to sue them because they birthed me.
Yeah, true.
And it's gone crazy. It's just gone crazy.
Preach, brother, preach.
Or you can just shoot them and spend 35 years in prison and hope that somebody wants to release you.
Now, can y'all see this?
Maryland Child Protective Services defines an unattended child as a child under 8 left alone in the care of a person who is not reliable or who is under 13.
Now, you see that section of the law? It even tells you the section of the law. And they just said that law 8, what's that, 5 point whatever in Maryland at the age of 8, right, is against the law. But then you just read that it says in the United States it's not against the law. But make it make sense. Every state got their own bullshit. At the federal level, it's not against the law. Then Maryland want to come and say, okay, if your child is under 8 and no time, and nobody under 13 can babysit. You see that bullshit they throw, and they know that the parents got to go out here and work. That's why we had latchkey children. That's why we had to hide the fact that we were home alone. That's why your mama say, don't you open this door for nobody, and you keep your ass inside until I get home. That's why, because it was against the law and insurance laws to have our children out there roaming the street. We would have got in trouble. I'd have gotten in trouble in the school. You know, I had to have a babysitter, an adult babysitter, somebody older than 13, you know, for my son. We had to have a babysitter. I was 10 years old watching me and my sisters. And my mama had to go to work. So we couldn't have no company. You had that's where your latchkey children come from. You know, and now it's not like that. Children open the door, they cooking, they having people over, they party, they doing boot. At the damn bus stop, I didn't even know what the hell boot was. These are junior high school kids. I'm watching with the elementary kids, goes up into the school. There's a circle of junior high school kids. Smoke just coming from the circle. Just coming from. I'm like, what the hell is that? Yeah. And then cross the guard out there, she not saying nothing. The kids get on the bus, they may not get on the bus.
And then the Gen generation seems to be like a lot different than the way we were raised. And I think I had a conversation with my son who's 31 now, and I said, well, what's the deal from your perspective? Why, you know, the generation is struggling? And he said, well, basically we were taught by you guys, like the parents, that everyone's a winner. We had participation trophies. We didn't have winners and losers anymore.
True.
And also the parents, anytime we had a problem, the parents ran in and solved it for us. So we never learned to solve any problems on our own. So they're used to this like regulation. Just tell us what to do, we'll do it. They don't think about, you know, they don't think, like you said, critical thinking.
Critical thinking is gone.
They just follow along. Oh yeah, we got to do 12 years old, a certain thing at a certain time. We'll just do it.
They didn't have common sense. Like we had sense to do stuff. They didn't have that. I don't know if it's lack of imagination. I don't know if it's because they got so much stuff on TV that is making their mind mush. But it's just like they don't think like the same way we we thought, you know.
You know what? And I don't want to cut you off, but you said that one critical word sentence you just said. You said they lack imagination. We had imagination. We can come out, stay on the sidewalk, draw a little hopscotch thing, and when they play hopscotch, we didn't have to buy a hopscotch thing. They took a crayon or a chalk and put it on the ground. They play hopscotch. The guys with the girls, we played dodgeball. We played tag. We raced up and down the street. They don't have that imagination anymore because they got all these games.
Kickball. Don't forget about kickball.
Yeah, kickball. Kickball, baseball. Look, we played tackle. Look, we played tackle football. We played tackle football on the street. We ain't even go on the grass. We played on the sidewalk and in the street. You know what I mean? These are the things, just like you said, we didn't have helmets and knee pads and all that to ride a bike. We got on the bike.
Let me say this. Beast, on your show, Beast, I told you can and a stick was a game. I told you that on Dad Mentality. Y'all ain't believe me.
We kick the can, beat the can. Hot bread and butter. Wait a minute, Damien want to say something. Damien, go ahead. I'm going to let Damien speak right now, y'all. Go ahead, Damien. What you got to say, baby?
Hey, Molly, will you do me a favor, Molly? Will you pull up the picture of me and my crew?
Damien, if you're going to interrupt, I hope you're going to add something.
I just asked Molly to pull up the picture I sent him. We're talking about kids.
He said he's going to pull it up. He said he got
All right, I'll wait.
But
the two youngest ones are mulatto. The two ones by my head, they're now 35, 34, 25, and 24.
Wow.
That's my crew right there. The younger ones are mulatto.
What?
Now that guy.
How were they raised?
They all have my
nose. Dangerous.
I got a tribe, man. Now, in regards to what we were talking about, some 10-year-old that walking down the damn street and mom gets fucking arrested. I think that's the most trifling ass shit on the fucking planet, man. Because if you raise your children the right way, from the time they can walk, they know what the fuck the rules are. And if you set those rules down, that's fine. Now, if the government comes in and tries to change the rules on you, I think you should fight back. Because if you're a good parent and you teach your kids what to do, you teach them how to do right, you teach them how to, if they see one of their friends that can't get home or whatever, you just do it. It becomes natural when you train your children. And that is my tribe right there. That is Damian Wade Seaman Jr. That is Zoe Lynn Seaman. That is Caleb Carter Seaman. And that is Carson Haley Seaman. That's my tribe.
Now,
there you go. That's all I got.
But the neighborhoods have changed too, though. I mean, before you could do that, I mean, I don't think the parents should get anything should happen to the parent for that. But the neighborhood has changed. People knew your kid when you sent them down to the store. People knew you. And that's now, right, the neighborhood is like, nobody knows anybody. Nobody looks out for anybody, so times have also changed too. And, you got predators and perverts out there too. So shit that we didn't really, I'm not going to say we didn't have them in our neighborhoods at the time, but, it's not as prevalent and as dangerous as it was. But in the long run, I mean, sending a kid to the store at 10 years old, I don't see a problem with that. Or, I mean, if he's not going a mile or somewhere where he gotta, shit. I used to ride a train to South Carolina when I was 11. So it was like, and they put me on there. They put me on there with my little paper bag of chicken and food, and I knew where to get off at, and so I mean, times are different, man. Kids have, and I mean, the quality of kids have changed too.
But you know what's changed, right? I haven't heard Real Talk. I haven't heard Phil. I haven't heard nobody on this panel say this, but we all can remember we had a natural, healthy fear of our parents. So we did when we knew, not like them girls that all got together and killed that man and beat him to death, the little teenagers. We had a natural, healthy fear of our parents that if we go too far off the track, they snatching our ass back up on there. We get public beatings and humiliations and all that. And we didn't want that. These kids don't have no fear of their parents. These kids talk to their parents. I seen a girl clap her mama up. Now, if you sitting there talking to me and you the mama, and you sitting there and the girl just clapping mama, saying this and grabbing in the air and all of this shit, she'd have been on the ground holding her face. Because I been gave her a 2-piece combination, she went straight to the body. But all the mother could do was like, no, mama could do more than that. Mama, you my grandparents and my mom used to tell me, I brought you in, I'll take you out. These kids
like this shit is a fucking
that's what like this shit is
this shit is a fucking democracy. My house is not a democracy. My house is a dictatorship.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you know that now.
And the kids ain't scared of us like that no more.
Like
real talk.
Hold on.
Was you scared of your mom?
Let me interject. The kids ain't scared of them no more. My son is 25 years old and he is 6'2", and he still think I karate chop him in the throat.
That's what I'm saying.
As you should.
I'm gonna get on the ass and real, and feel, and I know if my grandparents was here, I know I'd still got a whooping.
A whooping? A whole whooping?
Pulled out on me. They pulled out a belt on me. Hey,
Trey, you're probably one of the only ones. I don't think you have children, right?
Who, me?
No, I don't.
Trey.
I don't.
Okay, so
Yeah, I don't.
I'm really interested in what Trey has to think about this because he's going to be one of them, new wave parents.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't have an opinion. That's why I didn't really say anything. But I have to
sideways.
Yeah, I don't know why it's sideways because it's sit upright, but it's that's my sister in the middle, Olivia. I don't have no kids. As you know, I was just saying, but I don't I mean, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it because I ain't have to deal with none of that shit. It just wasn't my setup.
Well, did you, when you were growing up, did you walk to the store as a 8, 9, 10-year-old, or was
There
that
wasn't
allowed?
I mean, it was. I guess it would be allowed if there was corner stores around, but that just wasn't how the neighborhood was set up in the area. So it wasn't corner. I didn't have corner stores and stuff. So it wasn't nothing to really walk to. Yeah.
That was a point I was going to make too, if I was able to get in the conversation. That was a point I want to make. You have to understand the city, urban, suburban, those are different areas. So, and then on top of the fact that this young man lived in an area that was only 300 something people in the population. So that's a little bit, that's different. So that's a little bit different. We are in, not everyone grew up in the city, not everyone grew up in the area, not everyone grew up in the country. So the rules of how you send your children out should be based upon where you live. I live in the city, and the grocery store is 5 minutes from my house. I have sent my 11-year-old to the store. I was nervous, yes, of course I was scared, but he wanted to try to do something by himself. And you can holding your children back. I don't care if he was 15 years old. It's around the corner. I don't care if you walked into school. Anything can happen to your child. So we have to stop making it seem like the times are different. Things were happening then. You just didn't know about it because it wasn't all over the news. They will find out years later. People were being snatched. People were being killed. People were being raped. Things were happening. So it's no different now. We find right after it happens. We have to stop feel fear. That 10-year-old is old enough because he's done it before. His mother, he's done it before. If he had permission, he had permission. They had no business locking the mother up for that. Now, him being home by himself, okay, I get that. She could have took him to the store with her, to the doctor with her. But outside of that, no, she should not be locked up. So if she's locked up for a year, who's taking for her children? This is the one thing I don't like about the government. You don't think about that. You're taking her away from the child because of neglect, but you're making her neglect the child because she can't be there to take care of her children.
Did the father get locked up too? When the father was there in the picture?
Hey, that's the thing.
That was her lawyer.
Nah, I ain't hearing nothing about no father.
Yeah, that was her lawyer that was talking.
But it still said like she told the kid to stay home, and he left without her permission. She never gave him permission to go to the store. He need his ass whooped. These are situations you can avoid if you just listen to your parents. So at the end of the day, I don't need no ad libs.
Everybody, because I wasn't even finished talking.
Go ahead, Weezy.
Okay, because we gotta. If all of us are doing it, Reese. So like, everybody need to chill. But still, sorry. It's anyway. But I think she didn't she say she gave him permission to go to the store? But either way, at the end of the day,
Nah, she didn't give him permission. She said she was shocked when she even got the call. She said when they called and said, your son in town. She said, what? No,
right.
He's in the house. So she left him home because he didn't want to go with them. He wanted to stay home, and he decided to go out when they left.
That was her fault. You don't get a choice. Bring your ass. Okay. First of all, again, like in the urban areas, we're in these areas where it's way more people and it's way more consequential circumstances that can happen. But again, like I said, these kids got to walk to school by themselves.
Exactly.
I've seen 6-year-olds with their younger sibling or a sibling maybe a year or two older by themselves, and I always look out for them kids. I'm like, parents got to work. If they don't work, the kids don't eat. If they don't work, the bills can't get paid. So, we have that concern that things are happening to our children, but the way the world is set up, we cannot have them safely the way we need them to be. The only thing you can do is teach the children, show them. And if something happens, unless you just you should be trouble for somebody else decides to do.
And it's funny you said that because, like, you hit it right on the head. DC don't have school buses. We were walking to school by ourselves at 6 years old. So I mean, it was like, so what's the difference? Shit, we was walking past the stores to get to schools. The school was maybe, depending on where you were, I mean, you had to walk through some of the worst neighborhoods to get to school. So, but that's what we did. That's what we did. We didn't have school buses. We had to walk to school. We talking, man, I used to have my little sister walking her to school. So, and then you know, it was like, that's what we did. And we're not talking 10-year-old. We talking 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. So
DC Sniper was out when I was walking to school. We watch it on the news. He can be anywhere. Then they tell us we still gotta walk. Like, what the fuck? We looking at every white van running as kids because we just kids, and they telling us every white van can possibly be a sniper. He's like, man, that was a.
But you still had to walk to school.
You had to go to school, yeah.
When my son was walking to school, I made the mistake of looking up this app that showed me every child predator in the area. And the road that I lived on ran straight to the lake. It's called Lake Mead. And then it ran straight into the mountains. One day, my son decided to go to McDonald's with his friends instead of come straight home like I told him. So what happened was a police officer found him, snatched him up by his neck, and brought him home. And I told my son that I went out there and found a police officer to go and find you because you were 30 minutes late coming home from school and anything could have happened to you. So with that being said, the school made my child walk to school. They wouldn't pick him up on the bus. So I don't understand how this woman is going to jail because her son went less than a mile to the store. If they make you walk for school, why can't you walk to the store? I don't know.
They have crossing guards. They said we had patrols and we had crossing guards that usher the people out. When you're not going to school or walking unschooled hours, you're unsupervised. So that's the difference.
That crossing guard, the crossing guard help you cross the street. They don't walk you home or walk you home.
But the patrols, you got patrols on each corner. I don't know how y'all did, but I walked to school too. And it was me and my 2 little sisters. We was like the 3 bears. Okay. I'm 10, walking a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we all walk to school. First corner, the crossing guard there. I mean, the patrol. In the middle of the street is the crossing guard because we had 2 crossing guards because we had there 2 streets of highway we crossed. We had to cross Sheriff Road and we had to cross Greenleaf. And the cars was coming out, so you had to have, they was out there coming this way. Your patrol was standing on the end. That's the 5th graders. You had to be a patrol at 5th grader. And they at the end to the crossing guard in the middle of the street, then to the next corner, another patrol, then the next corner, the crossing guard to get you across the street. And you go on to the head. That was a nice little walk. But they could see you. They could see your whole route. And they could see if somebody snatched your ass. Somebody was watching you during those certain hours.
I want to say one thing real quick. I think that I encourage everybody that's a parent really to be looking into what is going on in your area, because I'm going to give y'all an example. When I first moved here, I'm going to say where the fuck I'm at. When I first moved here, I'm the first I want to look up and know what's going on. So when I look on the map and see who is an offender, when Brenda said something about offenders, when I looked up and seen who was in the area, not to only know that they're that close to a neighborhood that's full of children, this neighborhood is full of kids, but to know that you're only on the other side of this thin layer of trees, there's a house that's right here that literally has a sex offender living in. So these people be right around your kids, watching your kids walk to school, watching your kids, walk where they're walking. So I just encourage people to look up your area and know what's going on in your area, because it ain't nothing but a little thin veil of trees that I can walk through and be in their backyard. And the same in mine. So you be right around people and you don't know. I ain't never talked to them, ain't no reason to be on that side of this, but know about your area. That's all I want to say. Yeah. Know what's going on. Because I was very surprised. Like I can watch you cut your grass type shit. And that's weird to me. So just know what's going on with, in your area. as adults, period. You ain't gotta be no kid, but just know what's going on in your area. That's all I want to say.
One of my concerns, and maybe it's just me ranting, but I talk to a lot of men, and divorce rates or maybe not even marriages break up quite a lot. Mine did, and as a consequence, when it came down to custody, I was given none, zero, not even to see my kids for a half an hour.
That sucks balls. That's bullshit, bro. That's bullshit.
And I wasn't a child molester. I didn't beat my kids. I didn't do any of that. But somehow the system, it seems like they want the men out of the picture. They say things like, well, once a child turns 12, they don't need their fathers anymore. Or things like, well, it's better if you don't contact them, but when they become an adult, after not seeing you for 10, 12 years, then they'll all suddenly will want to have a relationship with you. That's the kind of stuff that's being told.
What?
And
yes, he's
and
locking
you watch
in
TV shows and you see women and children, and you're like, where's the men? And the reason I say this is there was a guy, pastor, who told this story, and he said, this is a true story. On one part of the jungle, there was a pack of elephants. There was old elephants, younger elephants, male, female elephants. And in another part of Africa, there was not so many males. So they decided to take some of the males. They took all the younger males and brought them over this other place. Guess what happened? The young males basically tore down people's huts. They had sex with any elephant in sight. They were just crazy and destructive. And people were like, what's going on with these elephants? And they finally figured out when they were in the pack with the older elephants would teach them how to be an elephant, how to be a respectful, hardworking elephant, I guess. But we have lots of kids being raised without fathers in their families, and they get into all kinds of problems. I'm not talking black or white. I'm talking all of them.
Right.
And they get in all kinds of trouble because they don't have anybody around who can teach them to be, in the role of a man, how to teach them the things that men can teach children that women can't. Women have certain roles they can teach, and men have certain roles they can teach.
Preach, Joey.
Yeah, bro.
Hallelujah.
Good job. Yeah, that's badass. and you know what? I agree 100% with Joey. Yeah, I was a single parent with 2 kids before I was 21, and I was a child raising children. And I can honestly say that I didn't have the acumen, even though I thought I did with my arrogance, that I could, bring these kids up right. Well, what I tried to do, I did. I worked my ass off. I joined the military, and then the girl that I thought was going to be the love of my life, she decided she wanted to fuck my neighbor, and I was going to have nothing to do with it, and she didn't want her kids. So I took my children before I was 21 years old. Now I'm 51. So through that process, I met someone else, this black girl in Fort Myers, Florida, Jennifer Bryan was her name. And we had Caleb and Carson. And she didn't like me either. But you know what? I always have stick near my children, and my kids know from a very early age that if I know you can get the task done, you're going to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to get an ass whooping. And that's just how I raised my kids. And so I have my older kids help me with the younger ones. And that's, that's my tribe. And you know, it sucks because my father was murdered in front of me when I was 10, so I didn't have a father. I had to figure out what a fucking father was. And then, you know, my mother, the most wonderful person on the fucking planet at the time, she taught me how to be a man. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, like I mentioned before, I think I had one of the best fathers any child could ever have in the world. I had somebody who was loving, caring, attentive. He was so caring that he would ask me what's wrong with me on a daily basis. You know if he was asking if he thought something was wrong with me, but you know,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
You know, who's messing with granddaddy girl? If he saw me pouting, what's wrong with granddaddy baby? And they say, "Oh, you spoil, you spoil." I don't think that you can spoil a child with too much love. There's no such thing. That's what we need, love. That's what's lacking now. You know, and if I was doing something wrong, oh, he chastised me. If he had to whip my ass, I got beaten with a switch or a belt. He never smacked. My grandfather do not believe in hitting child in the face. He came up from where you beat their behind parts. That's what I know what behind parts was. You beat their behind parts. You take a belt, a paddle, a switch. You tear their backside up or get them legs, sting them legs with that switch. So and he was the fun, loving. He played games. He taught us how to play games, not video games. Like we made a game out of a piece of yarn. We had a piece of string that we tied together, and we made Jacob's ladder. Orion, put your hand in, and then you put your hand in, and
cat's cradle.
We played with string. That's how my imagination was. And then we took a rock and drew on the ground. That's how mine was. The damnedest thing.
That's the thing. What happened, Reese? What happened to that? You know, like, because I hear a lot of older people say that, but it's still like we had technology. My mother used to make us put the game up, and she make us play cards, backgammon. She teach us how to play a lot of the game, but y'all didn't do that for the next generation. It ain't matter what they want to play. We didn't want to play that shit neither. But as we got older, we started to understand and we started to enjoy playing the game of 5,000 games that
and
I
then
tend
we
to play
gave
with my
them
kids,
phone.
and I'm a
And then we gave them phone.
But we used to do all types of stuff.
Then the parent had to go to work. Some parents, single parents, had to go to work and had to leave video games and stuff to babysit their kids.
Yeah.
They wasn't going nowhere. You stay here and play your game. I got to go to work. When you get home from school, you just your snack down of this and out of that. I had to go to work. I'll be home at this time. Don't let nobody in.
Yeah, that's still the parents' fault, man. Because when summertime, we had to go to the summer program. Like we had to go down it early morning. They gonna be out there passing out food. After that, you can play basketball. It's always something for kids to do in the summer. In the summer, my daughter go to cheer and dancing camp. You know, if you do sit around and let them sit in the house while you go to work all summer, they ain't gonna do shit but play the game. But it's still to come to the parents. You got to get them something to do. It can't keep being they did this what they wanted to do. See, she wanted to do this. Yeah, kids gonna always do what they want to do. That's any kid. If you allow them eat candy every day, they would do that. But you say no, you got to eat your food first. Don't drink that. It's the same thing with everything else. And like, put the game down. You know, if you paid for it, most likely the parent paid for it. Put that phone down. You know, you can't use the phone at the dinner table. That's the time where we all talk. But now you see kids at the dinner table, they all on their phones. When we was growing up, everybody didn't have a phone. You know, but it still come up to the parents. We can't keep allowing these kids to do the things they want to do just because it's there. Nah, you're going to do what I tell you to do. We need to get back to that and stop having that excuse. They ain't want to do it. You know, they want to play the game. Yeah, I want to do a lot of things. I can't do it. You know, just that's life. They got to get used to that now. Like Joy said, we can't spoil them participation trophies. You even won or you lost. You ain't come home with no trophy if you ain't win. But now everybody get a trophy.
Molly, I said that at the beginning. That goes back to my first beginning opening statement where We had fear of our parents. It was a nice, healthy a fear that we did with our parents. I'm pretty sure everybody here on this panel is old enough to remember this saying, do as I say, not as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't hear that no more. You know, you don't hear that often no more. You hear this during you go to the club, let's go to the club. The grandma dancing with the kids going up. You hear them trying to be their child's friend and not their parent. You could be both, but don't get the both of them mixed up. Because there's a certain point where the ha-ha kiki stop. But if you blur those lines, you gotta have everything goes in boundaries. You crossing the line, you get tightened up. But now they doing zigzag all over the line and everything. They don't have that nice, healthy fear of the parents anymore. And it's not your generation, Molly. It started with my generations. The generation that gave birth to you started in our generation. Started from that 80, generation.
When never started in my house, so it didn't have to end. I never thought that whole friend idea was a good thing. My mama didn't do it. My grandma didn't do it. Hell, my grandma barely paid any attention to us, so a joke was not even close. But I knew if my mama said don't do it, there was no why I can't do it. I think and I don't want to admit this, and I hope my mama never sees this episode, but I think she's right. And it took me a long time to come to that kids don't have opinions. And she used to ask me all the time, like, why do you let him have so many opinions? And I was like, because I'm a new age mom and I want to hear what he got to say and da-da-da-da. My mama was like, no, kids don't have no opinions. You do what your parents tell you, and that's that. Or get your ass kicked. That's your option.
Lock it in.
That sounds toxic as fuck to me. A child needs to be a child, but that whole dismiss that's a lot of parents' problems actually is the dismissal of their kids. And act like they can't say nothing. That's like, I mean, yeah, y'all said dictatorship, all right, definitely is, but a child should always stay in the child's place. But saying they don't have an opinion, you're dismissing your child early and expecting them to get into the workforce and then the public and all of that and be able to advocate and talk for themselves and all of that. So I don't know.
Well, like I said, my granddaddy asked me, put it like this. He's asking me, he turned to talk to me. He said, what's wrong with you? Even up until I still hear my grandfather in my head. He cared and he asked the opinion, but he also play with it, but don't play with it. My granddaddy's like, I remember when I was having my child. He told me, he was like, he told me, he said, you didn't think I was going to find out. You didn't think I was, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. Let's get into Shades of Blue. Because the next chapter of Shades of Blue is interesting. And it talks a little bit about what we're talking about today, the parent dynamics with the kids and stuff. So this will be a good chapter to get into if y'all have y'all listening ears on. Louisa?
Well, we can do dueling books because I've got a section on children.
Is she the one who read yesterday, Althea?
Yeah, she is the one that read yesterday.
Oh my God! Please read again, man. I had to replay it twice yesterday. You're a good orator.
And Trey too. So if Louisa gets tired, or
we can take turns. So Trey and I, it's fine. But I appreciate
going in and out.
I mean, because it took me a long time. I did not like my voice. I didn't like to hear it on replay because I do. It took me a long time to get adjusted to my voice, so I appreciate it.
You going in and out, Louisa.
Okay. Everybody probably has to mute. That's probably what it is. Let me close 1 second. Let me close this window because it is some noise coming from outside. 1 second.
Trey, can I get a cup of coffee?
Sure.
Look, you what you fixing?
Oh, just some coffee. I ain't cooking nothing. Just some coffee. I ain't cooking. I don't want the line to be silent while we're waiting for it. We gotta talk about something or say something.
Thank you. Yes, that is so true.
I mean, what would you say is one of the I guess one of the highlights? Well, no, because we about to read it, so I wouldn't even talk about the highlights.
LA Common say, I feel bad my kids can't play spades, but they can win in Fortnite and Call of Duty though.
I don't know how to play Fortnite or Call of Duty. My son was trying to teach me to shoot. I was shooting up in the air.
God damn, Sliggy. What happened?
In a black household, you gotta already know how to play. I don't know who teaches you. I don't know how I learned because I watched some people from a distance, but you wasn't getting involved in no spades game if you didn't know how to play for sure. So it's like you better watch and stay silent.
My granddaddy taught me, and they were serious spade players. My grandparents taught me because everybody in the house knew that they taught me how to play spades, bidwest. Oh, I love bidwest. They all any card game. My grandmother and my granddaddy would sit there and play. I was sitting in my granddaddy's lap, and he was showing me the hand, telling me what to put out. So if I play kind of like him, that's probably what. Because he was telling me, no, you throw this out, explaining what I know, what I have, what a blind, what the jokers is. He was. I remember that.
Hey, Althea, I got a similar story, Althea. And this is in Romeo, Colorado. It's in the San Luis Valley. I was just a little kid. I was probably not more than fucking 5 years old. But my dad taught me how to play dominoes. So, this is when you didn't wear seatbelts, and he'd, shoot a rifle out the truck window to kill a rabbit and shit like that. And but my dad was, kind of like the town drunk and shit. So he'd take me to the bar. And I would play dominoes with the older men, and it would be my 25 cents against their $5. And man, my dad taught me how to fucking play dominoes at 5 years old, and I was like, hell yeah! And I got paid in beef jerky and soda pop. Right? That's what's up. Can't make that shit up, man. And my dad would just take that fucking money. No, my dad was a big guy. He knew it was my 25 cents against their $5, and he's over there playing pool and shit. And as soon as I won a game, my dad's coming right over to the bar, scooping that shit up. Get him another soda.
And you was happy.
Whenever you ready, Louisa.
But I
was hanging out with my dad. He was having fun. I was having fun.
Yeah, dads are important.
That's what's up, man. He was having fun with me, killing all those brothers at dominoes. But he loved taking the money, and he loved showing off his son, me. He's, you can't beat him at dominoes.
In the bar.
5 years old in the bar.
They locked his ass up today.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, that's right, Molly. That's exactly what would have happened.
It makes sense. No. Dane raised in a bar. Playing dominoes.
Yeah. Right.
That's gangster.
Hey, man, my father was in my life for 10 years. So I've tried to do my best to father as many people as I can. And I got 4 of them out of 2 women. And then I adopted 4 more. And they know that I am 100% authentic, and whatever comes out of my mouth, if you don't fucking do it, don't even call me. Don't talk to me.
Lock it in.
And my kids know it. Every fucking one of them know it.
All right.
As a father, as the patriarch of my family, my kids can ask me for anything, and they will get whatever they want. But if I know that they're fucking up, I'm going to let them sit in that. Like my son going to prison, and my daughter having 4 different baby daddies and stuff. I love them, and I will continue to do so, and I will support them till my death. But when they come to me, they got to come correct. And when they do, they get whatever they want. If they don't, they get nothing.
You ready?
Okay.
I know that. I know that's right, Damien.
Yeah, you
All
right
right.
about that.
I'm just saying, man. I got lots of kids. I got 9 grandkids now. Shit, man. I got a whole fucking tribe. I don't even know what to fucking do with. They're all calling me for money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got Louise's beautiful face, Damien, up on the screen. Molly had her up there ready to read. We'll give her our attention.
Yes,
Louise.
please. I'm so excited.
Okay. So yesterday we read chapter 1. So we are in Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
I can.
Yes.
Okay. So we're in chapter 2. It's called Walter's Mess. Growing up with my grandparents was sweet. I used to get everything and anything I wanted. They may not have been the richest people in the world, but they were rich in love and loved me. Everybody treated me extra special, even my aunt and uncles. I was so spoiled. They referred to me as Walter's Mess, the monster he created. I always knew when my granddaddy was coming home from. I would position myself in the chair at the window waiting for him. I knew he'd come bearing gifts for me. At least that's what I expected. It didn't matter to me what the gift was. All I knew was it was for me, only me. It was mine, and nobody was getting any. I would run and stand in the corner crying if he came into the house and didn't have anything in his hands for me. He wouldn't even be able to sit down in peace and enjoy his dinner until he went back out and got something for his little monster. My grandmother definitely had a hand in spoiling me too, but she never admitted. She once told me I was her child because she felt responsible for being here. She didn't think she had equipped my mother with enough knowledge about the birds and the bees, which led to her becoming a teen mom. My granddaddy was my hero, though. My granddaddy was my hero, though. I thought there was nothing he couldn't do or fix when I was a little girl. I was sadly mistaken. As I grew up, it became clear that he couldn't fix everything, but that didn't stop him from trying. I remember when I was outside playing with these sticks in my backyard and pretending I was a ninja. This man was walking through the alley with his German Shepherd. He had trained to be an attack dog. The dog saw me playing with the sticks and perceived me as a threat. He ran and jumped the fence, headed straight toward me. I turned and hauled ass to the back door. I was so scared. I didn't even think to open the glass screen door and shot through like a fireball, badly cutting my arm. It seemed like my arm was bleeding from my shoulder to my wrist. I stood there screaming at the sight of all that blood. My grandmother screamed, "Walter, hurry up and come here." My granddaddy was already on his way because of the crashing sound woke him up from his nap. My grandmother ran and got clean towels to wrap my arm to try and stop the bleeding, but the blood kept soaking through, and she kept wrapping and wrapping. Grandma had called the ambulance, but felt they were taking too long, so my granddaddy picked me up and drove me to the local hospital, which was about 10 minutes away. With me in his arms, he busted through the ER doors, screaming for help. The hospital staff grabbed me and rushed me to the back. I screamed, "Help me, Granddaddy, help me." My granddaddy hung his head and said, "Granddaddy can't help you this time, sweetheart." That broke my heart because he was supposed to be my superhero. My real parents didn't give a hoot about me. My mother dismissed my father, and he went on with his life like I didn't exist. I'm so thankful my grandparents loved me unconditionally. New neighbors, the Crawford family, moved in across the street. They had 7 children, 3 boys and 4 girls. While they were moving in, my mother set her eyes on another unsuspecting soul, the Crawford's older boy, Michael. You would think that being a mother would have cooled her ass down, but it didn't. Instead, it started her up. My granddaddy knew something was up when my mother started acting like a woman again instead of the child she was. She wanted to appear older to attract the attention of the Crawford boy, so she started wearing makeup. She tried to lure him by acting all sexy and sending sexy innuendos. Little did she know he was already dating Alice. Yes, the same Alice that my father liked when my mom swooped in like a buzzard on a dead carcass. My mom and Alice were supposed to be friends, but my mother didn't care. My granddaddy warned my grandmother about my mother's behavior. He said, "Helen, you need to keep a tighter watch on Patricia. I see her eyeing that Crawford boy and call herself wearing makeup. Now, I love Blue, but we don't need any more yellows and greens. We don't need any yellows and greens running around here. My grandmother said, Walter, you don't know what the hell you talking about. That girl always acts like that. She always has an uppity way about her. Ain't nothing changed. He said, Helen, I don't give a damn. I don't want that nigga sniffing around here. You hear me? That was the end of that conversation. The next day, my grandmother noticed my mom getting up mighty early. Grandma thought she was getting up to feed and dress me because that was her regular routine. But she didn't have time to do that this particular morning. My mom had gotten up early to get out the house before the Crawford boy did so they can walk to school together. My grandmother noticed my mom hurried out the door. Maybe she noticed herself. Maybe she noticed because I was screaming at the top of my lungs when my mother left out. I yelled. My granddaddy had left for work about an hour prior, but if he had heard me screaming like that, he would have jacked her up. He always told my mom her main responsibility was taking care of me and going to school in that order. My grandmother came downstairs to find me standing in the bay window screaming. I know my mom heard me, but she didn't even bother to look back once that Crawford boy came out the house. She just walked off out of sight. When I couldn't see her anymore, I threw a tantrum and flipped back out the windowsill. It was a good thing my grandmother was there to catch me. I would have hit my head and had brain damage for real. It was at that moment my grandmother realized that my granddaddy was right. To herself, she said, damn, Walter was right. Her ass is hot like a dog in heat. My mom was changing and everyone was noticing. She started coming home from school later and later. One day, my grandmother was in the kitchen cooking. She looked up at the clock to check the time, and it was 5 p.m. She knew Walter would be home soon, and she wanted to have dinner ready by the time he got home. Then it dawned on her, where the hell was Patricia? She hadn't seen her hit the door sill yet. Grandma was steaming. She told my mom that she couldn't do any after-school activities because she had to come home and take care of me. Walter walked in the door, and everybody was home except my mom. Where's Patricia? He asked as he picked me up and started bouncing me on his knee. I don't know where that child is, my grandmother replied. She continued, Lord Walter, it's getting late. Come on, Helen, the kids are hungry. So let's just eat, and if she isn't home after supper, then I'll go look for her. She probably at the school hanging with them cheerleader girls. You know she wants to be a cheerleader. My grandmother quipped, yeah, she should have thought about that before she opened her legs. Grandma picked me up, put me in the chair, and called the other kids down for supper. Everyone was sitting at the table, and Granddaddy was about to say grace. Aunt Flo asked, where's Patricia? Is she still walking that Crawford boy home? She was being funny, but then my Uncle Bruce chimed in. He said, she ain't with that Crawford boy. He's at home. Patricia cut third period and went out with Alice downtown. My granddaddy jumped up from the table and yelled, what? Oh, dear Lord Walter, you got to go find this child, my grandmother screamed. My granddaddy grabbed his keys and was heading out the door when my mom came waltzing through the door in a daze with a goofy smile on her face. Where have you been, Patricia? My grandmother asked. I was out, she replied. I know you was out, but where the hell have you been? My grandmother affirmed. I don't have to tell you, I'm grown, she snapped. My granddaddy said, the hell you are. He continued as he took off his belt. You a child with a child living in my goddamn house. My grandmother snatched the belt out of his hand. She yelled, I'm fixing to whoop the horse shit out of you. My mom ran upstairs with my grandmother in hot pursuit. She tried to shut the door on her, but my grandmother busted the door open. My grandma said, I'm going to ask you one more time, Patricia, where have you been? Oh, Mama, I was out, my mom said. My grandmother drew back and hit my mother with the belt across her arm. What? My grandmother said, I'm going to ask you again. Oh, Mama, I was with Alice. What were you doing with Alice? My mom was about 16 and Alice was a couple of years older than her. So there was no telling where they were doing. My mother started again. Oh, Ma. She couldn't even get her full sentence out before my grandmother drew back again, delivered another blow of the belt. What? Aunt Flo stood in the door watching all the action. My grandmother turned and said to her, go get Alice and tell her to come here. Aunt Flo went running. That's how she got her name. They call her Flo because she ran fast like water. She was the fastest thing around our neighborhood at the time. Not even a dog could catch her. My mom started screaming, no, Flo, don't do it, Flo. What were you doing cutting school? My grandmother asked as she struck her 3 more times with the belt. What? My mom got licks for cutting school, but more licks she got, the angrier she became. She swung at my grandmother and missed. My mom made the mistake and forgot who she was. My grandmother went ballistic and started tearing that ass up. My mom was screaming, swinging her arms and kicking as my grandmother beat her with the belt. I ran into the room crying. Grabbing my grandmother's leg, I screamed, "Stop hitting my mama." My mom yelled, "Stop, mama, stop. I went out with Alice to meet up with some men." She finally confessed. My grandmother saw red as she whooped my mom good. My mom continued to kick and scream until she accidentally kicked me. I went flying across the room. My uncles ran to make sure I wasn't hurt as I laid on the floor screaming. At this point, my granddaddy came into the room. "That's enough, Helen, that's enough," he said, trying to pull my grandmother off my mother. My grandmother, unfazed, kept on beating my mom. He grabbed that belt from my grandmother's hand and said, "God damn it, Helen," I said, "that's enough." Mad and out of breath, my grandmother paused. "Damn it, Walter, I'm going to kill this child," she said before turning to my mom and saying, "You're punished forever." Granddaddy took me out of my uncle's arms. Trying to soothe me, he said, "Come here, sweetheart. Stop crying. Granddaddy's here." I put my arms around my granddaddy's neck and clung to him for dear life. He knew I was scared. As my granddaddy walked out the door, he turned to my crying mother and said, "You need to get something else on your mind other than boys. I done told you that she only, hold on. I done told you that she's the only thing you need to worry yourself with is this child and your schooling, in that order." He shut the door and headed downstairs with me in his arms. Then there was a knock on the front door. It was Aunt Flo. She said, "Open the door, it's me. I got Alice with me, Mama." My grandmother opened the door. "Come on in, Alice, and have a seat. I'm just going to get right down to it. I don't like the fact that you are taking my daughter with you to meet up with your men friends." Alice said, "Miss Lewis, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about this evening when you and Patricia were out running the streets," my grandmother said. Alice reported, "No, Miss Lewis, you got it all wrong. I took Patricia to the free clinic because she thought she might be pregnant." "What?" my grandmother yelled. She wasn't ready to hear that and almost fainted. My granddaddy hung his head low and asked, "What did I say, Alice?" Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, Patricia is expecting again," Alice said. My grandmother turned to Aunt Flo and said, "Go get your sister." Aunt Flo scampered past Uncle Bruce and Uncle Jimmy on the steps to her and my mom's room, where my mom sat sulking on the bed. When Aunt Flo opened the door, my mom screamed, "Close the door, Flo." Aunt Flo said, "Mama wants to see you downstairs." "She won't be seeing me for a long time because I'm moving out," my mom said. Aunt Flo didn't pay my mom any mind. "Okay, but for now, Mama wants to see you downstairs," Aunt Flo said as she hurried back downstairs. She wanted to get a good seat for what was about to happen next. Aunt Flo didn't even warn my mom that Alice was downstairs, and the whole family knew she was pregnant again. When my mom got to the bottom of the steps, she looked up and saw Alice standing there mad with her arms folded. "Patricia, how could you lie like that and hang me out to dry with you? What is this nonsense? You said your mother knew you was going to the clinic," Alice exclaimed. My mom sat on them steps and started crying. She said, "I'm grown. I don't need y'all no more. I will go to the welfare office and they will help me take care of my babies." My grandmother didn't even look up at her. She said, "Call me. You're grown? Well, pack your shit and get out. This baby barely out of diapers and you pregnant again? I want your ass out of my house." My granddaddy slowly got up from the table and walked over to my mother. My aunt and uncle started backing away from her, bracing themselves against the wall. Everybody got scared as he moved about. They didn't know what he was going to do. My granddaddy said, "Who's the baby's father?" She looked up with her eyes full of tears and said, "Michael Crawford." Granddaddy turned and directed his anger toward my grandmother. He said, "Ain't that a bitch?" Granddaddy wouldn't let my grandmother kick my mom out. My grandmother was so upset and disappointed. My mom wasn't even 18 yet, but already on her second child. Wasn't the first one enough? My grandmother took the blame for my mom having me, but said, "I'd be damned if I take the blame for this second baby. You should have known better this time around." Granddaddy was hurt too. He wanted more for his child than what she wanted for herself. He had high hopes for her. He thought maybe one day she would go to college and become a doctor, but having a bunch of babies was not the way to become a pediatrician. Granddaddy told my mom, we're not going to let this one slide. Michael is going to have to do something about his responsibilities. And that's the end of chapter 2.
Woo!
All right, I gotta go. I gotta leave the room because I'm bawling my fucking eyes out, and I can't stop. So I need to leave for a minute.
You gotta come back and tell me what you think of the chapter. Beast, I know
I'll come back. You gotta let me digest this whole fucking thing because that fucked me up, man.
Beast, David, Trey, Joey, what do y'all think of Walter?
Hold on. So we just gonna bypass the mission of how spoiled you really are. We're gonna bypass that at the beginning of the chapter. So we're just gonna skip right past that.
Wait a minute. This is a book. This is a fictional book about Blue. Reese is not in that book. You know, is Reese name in it? No.
All right, then we'll talk about how spoiled Blue is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
talk about Blue.
And how she expected something every time her grandfather came home, and if she ain't get it, she would fold her arms and pout, similar to how somebody is looking right now with her arms folded and turning away from the camera. Whenever somebody mentions something, they fold their arms, turn away from the camera, and kind of get in that same pouting mode that I envisioned Blue was in when her grandpapa came home and didn't bring her nothing. So we're not going to, we're going to bypass the spoiled child syndrome and go into what we thought about Walter. And I feel like Walter is the victim in this book. Walter from the beginning to the end of the book tried to do his best. Yeah. And unfortunately, he spoiled the women in his life, and including his daughter who went out and wanted the same attention from every other dude on the street. So and then her granddaughter who apparently feels that she can do no wrong. So Walter might be the enemy in the book. He seemed like the good guy, but he might be the enemy in the book because he over here sparing the rod and spoiling the child. So that's all I got. That's kind of what I got out of that. What you call that? So maybe we need to take a little bit less tips from Walter and start spoiling these children and make them be accountable for the things that they do.
Well, I saw things a little differently, and I want to ask the author the question.
Yes,
but when they talked at the beginning about she waited in anticipation for her grandfather to come home because he always brought her some kind of special, probably small, wasn't like big, but some small special treat for her. And I thought about love languages. Did that indicate that the child's love language was receiving gifts? Because she really, that was one of her memories of growing up was made her happy was her grandfather bringing her something that said, I thought of you today, and here you go.
That was it. It could be a sticker. It could be a lollipop. Back then, those days, they collected Donald Duck. Had little teeny Donald Duck orange juices, and they had different little colors of little different phases, and they collected that. He could have bought her an empty Donald Duck can home, but she would always think, because he said, "This is for you," and she thought, granddaddy thought of nobody else but me. It is set the precedence of how, as a child, how she looked for love in the world.
If this was a true character,
right?
Yeah.
But it's fictional, so that definitely you brought out a really good point. I even missed that as an author. You're right. You are absolutely right, Joey. Thank you for bringing that out. And Wow. To me, what did y'all think of? What did you think of Walter, though, Joey? Do you think the same thing, Beast? Do you think
Well,
he was
I thought he was doing the best. He was obviously with his wife, trying to raise his children, working.
Yep.
And I think the one thing he could have done more was, you know, and I always think about this is when a guy comes up to take your daughter out. I remember one of the dates I went on. I'll explain that first. One of my first dates I went on was this girl. I went to her house and I sat down, and her father was watching TV, sitting down, and he said nothing to me. He didn't say hello. He didn't say anything. And I got the picture right away. Basically, he said nothing, but he said it loudly. And what he was saying is, you better not be messing with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think men's roles, especially when their daughters become of age to date, need to meet the man or the young man and let him know that, hey, that's my daughter. You better treat her right and do not take advantage of her, or else I'll be getting my shotgun out.
Yes, you're right.
You're done.
Right.
Maybe not that graphically, but you know, hey, I'm the man of this house. I'm here to protect the women in my house. And if you're here to see my daughter, you know, remember, I'm here watching you.
That would have been great, but Patricia was sneaking. She wasn't even supposed to be dating. And and Walter peeped that she was feeling all frisky and sexy. Walter looked at that and said, hold up, you changing. You got eyes on that little boy, and I see it. And he told his wife, watch out, Patricia's iron. And Helen was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I hear that a lot, that when the man say something, the woman will go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But he actually did. He actually, because he's looking at it through a different lens than the woman, you know.
I think if he had actually approached the young man himself instead of just telling his wife, maybe he could have prevented that.
Prevented Patricia
I don't know.
from sneaking? You can't prevent the child from sneaking.
And you ain't gonna stop no young man from getting that cooch if it's offered either. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But that might be the last time he gets any.
Hey man, let me tell you something. I respect my father-in-law thoroughly. I went and asked him for the date and everything, but my intentions, no matter what, was to get it, and I was going to get it. If it was offered, I'm taking it. It don't matter what the father say. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's right.
I mean, the thing is, for me, you just got to really teach your daughter, you know, and have that conversation with your daughter. One of the things that they did say in that chapter is that the grandmother neglected never teaching her about the birds and the bees before she found out on her own. The thing is, you want to have these conversations with your kids, because you definitely don't want them to learn it in the streets. Because whatever they learn in the streets ain't right.
Yep.
It ain't going to be right, and it ain't going to be the best decision to make. It's going to be whoever's teaching it to you. If it's the boy that's trying to get some teaching it to you, he going to tell you it's part of you a woman. It's part of being in your womanhood, whatever he need to say. You know what I'm saying? God created it for a reason. I've used them all. You know what I'm saying? I use church guilt before. You know, it's all good. Whatever you got to do to get there, you want to use it as a male, a male 16-year-old. You'll lie, cheat, and steal for it. So
right, Reese, and Connie tells all of the girlfriends that I got that he has one eye and tunnel vision, and we're not talking about his head. We're talking about his head.
Okay, David, Trey, what y'all think about the father in the character? No, I mean,
that was badass. You guys got me all fucked up, Althea, and whoever the orator was, I can't remember your name, sis. I'm sorry. I've been smoking weed this morning.
The Blue Phoenix.
No.
Okay, well, you know what? She should go into public speaking, because her dialect and her tone and her cadence is exceptional. And I was crying the whole time, because it really mirrors my life, and I didn't realize that that was pop. I mean, I was bawling the whole fucking time like a bitch. For real. That was beautiful, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Your life where? Your life where, Damien?
You know, growing up with my kids, you know, being a single parent before I was 21, having, you know, 2 ex-wives and going through multiple abortions, you know, not growing up with a father, having my mom raise me, and you know, I mean, she'd hit me with anything, and she was only like 4'11", but man, she would fuck you up. I mean, she would beat a motherfucker with a motherfucker. My mom.
But that
God
wasn't
rest her
Blue
soul.
Story at all. That wasn't Blue Story.
No, but there were so many. Oh, now hold on. But there were so many things intertwined in there that I was listening to that I could relate to. That's all I'm saying.
Grandmother
I could
did
relate to.
But where'd you grow up, Damien?
I was born in Northern California. After I was born at 6 months, my parents moved to Guatemala. Then they moved to Colorado. Then they got a divorce. My mom got custody of me, and I grew up in South Chicago.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Got it.
And then I went to military school from the time I was in the 4th grade until I was a freshman in high school.
What part made you cry?
What was the name of the military school?
Glenwood School for Boys. Now it's called the
One more
Glenwood
for
Academy.
bingo. Just waiting. My bad. One more for bingo.
What part made you cry, Damien? That made you? Was
Man,
it the ass
it was
whooping?
just now. It just felt to me something similar that, you know, my mom had to go through, or you know, my daughters have gone through, what I've gone through. It just touched my heart, and I couldn't stop crying. That was beautiful. That's good writing. You fucked me up. Thanks. Drop the mic. There. Who's got bingo now?
Nah.
David
I still need you to show Connie.
Hold on. Here she is. Connie.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Got it.
Hey, Connie.
Did someone get bingo?
Yeah, that was it. That was all I needed. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, cool, man. Thank you, LA, for making that bingo card. You the Damien bingo. It's fucking genius.
Appreciate you.
So, David, I want to hear like from David, Trey, and then Amali. I want you to bring up the rear. Well, what did you think of the father? Did you see yourself? Did you feel it, or did you? I mean, what did you think of that last chapter Weezy read?
Fuck me up.
I mean, I wasn't crying, but my question is, did the way he was treating the granddaughter, is that the same way that he treated the mom?
Yeah.
Like as far as like spoiling, now this is this no. Because what I'm saying is this, is that, you know what I mean, he's not learning his lesson. You know what I mean? Like if he was treating his mom the same way and she turned out the way that she was, there's a great chance that the granddaughter would end up the same way. And it seemed like she I mean he wasn't the discipline, you know what I mean? As I heard, it was the mom that was taking over, that was whipping and that this, and he would just sit back, and then he was finally like, "Yeah, okay, stop." You know what I mean? You're gonna kill her and different things like that. So
he was the main disciplinary. He was going to whoop Patricia first, but Helen snatched the belt out of his hand and was like, "I'm doing it." When Walter took his belt off, that's why all the other siblings and everybody was scared, standing up against the wall on the steps, because they wanted to get out of the way, because they was like, "Oh shit, y'all done made Walter get up from the dinner table." He was the disciplinary, you know, but his wife, who reared the children, he reared them as well. He's out there working and everything, making sure everything go well, and he was the one that put Helen on report. Like, I know you ain't seeing this, but I'm seeing this. You better keep an eye on that. Something brewing over there. which he was right.
Right,
He was
right.
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 Trey.
I don't really know what I'm supposed to think about him specifically as a character. He wasn't really necessarily a highlight or anything. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those chapters that makes me want to get into the next one to keep going, but I didn't really have anything like specific about him that I wanted to highlight or say necessarily.
Do you think he was a strong man or a weak man? What do you?
I didn't really hear enough. I hear a lot of shit going on in the house. A lot that they, are dealing with and trying to get, wrapped up. But I mean, I don't have anything specific about him that I want to highlight. I don't know if he's a strong man or not necessarily. That's not enough to really tell me what all is going on.
But he was right when he saw his intuition. We always talk about female intuition. Do men have that intuition too?
Yeah, they do.
And what do they call that? A gut feeling?
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it would be different if we just still got. I don't think it'd be different. We still got brains and consciousness and stuff too. So I don't think it's different. I think the same thing that gives you that trigger is the same thing that would do it for us as far as what's going on around us.
Right.
It is. They just don't call it the same thing, but it's intuition all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. You know when someone's trifling. Okay. I mean, you women, you have that unique ability to just smell the fucking bullshit, and I know you do.
Yeah.
If it ain't good, it ain't good, and you guys can root it out. And I've seen it my whole life.
Fuck that. I go off for what I know, and I ain't trusting no nigga with my daughter. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
So it ain't no. I don't know if you want to call it intuition or not. I call it. I know what a nigga want.
Yeah. And Beast, I agree with you because my daughters are absolutely fucking gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous.
Half the time I don't trust her friends either. Them, I
don't trust
open
them
the door.
either. You're damn
my daughter
right.
try to bring her female friends in too. I'd be like, nah, this 2024. Both of them got to open the door. You don't close that door with nobody in that room. I don't give a shit who it is. I don't care if her name is Amanda and she go by Jay. I don't give a shit about none of that. Nah, the door stays open. I told my daughter that from the break, and I treat all of them the same. When her female friends come in here and all that, I treat them exactly the same. I tell them right now, we ain't leaving you alone. Ain't none of that shit happening. Yeah, y'all ain't going for walks. None of that. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna do it, y'all gotta do it the old-fashioned way, and that's sneak hard as shit. That's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna leave it open. And nowadays, it's even harder because your phone got GPS. You think, and I told my daughter, I said, if you think for a second that I'm paying your phone bill and I don't have your location, you got the wrong nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit ain't working. Nah, I pay your phone bill, your location stays on. And I have the passcode to her phone too. And she's not allowed to change it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
The company can set that.
Yeah. I mean, you can have it set up that all her text messages are sent to you, all that kind of stuff. I don't do that because I don't got that kind of time. But I still have access to all that, and I don't play no games when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that I'm doing my job, and my job is to make sure that if you do have sex, you did everything you had to do to make sure that happened, and you had to go over and above to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And if hey,
no, Damien.
If my daughter comes home and things don't look right, I'm for it. I look at the nigga, make sure ain't nothing happening, like his pants unzipped or some bullshit like that. I look for all that. And I tell her shit that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like, why was his pants unzipped, even though his pants was zipped? You know what I'm saying? Why was this? You know what I'm saying? Don't be home. If it's 11 o'clock I tell you, be home 11 o'clock, and you don't call me, and it's 11:01. It's a motherfucking problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm already on the way. That's when my daughter told me, he's like, oh, I'm running late. I was like, I'm already in the car on the way to you.
Right.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
Hey, Connie, what would you say? What would you say to the panel about that discussion, Connie? You're on. You're on.
Bingo.
Connie, what would you say?
I agree with him.
Keep going.
She agree with me.
I don't trust.
What would you whoop your kid's ass for what?
I beat her ass.
Molly,
Logging in.
Lock it in.
Molly, what did you think of the chapter? I said chapter. What did you think of the chapter?
It was a chapter.
Of this chapter.
I just think it's warming up for most people. It get better and better.
Amen.
I can't say good man, bad man. We all parent different. We learn as we go. You know, one thing that stood out though a lot. I never really had grandparents, but I used to remember my mother used to say to my grandma before she passed. I was young. She was like, "You always treat them way better. Why you don't do them like you used to do us?" And I ain't understand that. My mother beat us. We couldn't do this and that. Then when I had kids and my sister had kids, she let them get away with murder. It's don't hit my baby, don't it? And I stopped. Oh, now I see. You know, grandparents tend to parent different than they actually do with their kids than with their grandkids. You know, so hey, you can be a better grandparent than an actual parent, and that's how I look at it. You know, so no matter what my father might went through when we was younger, he might was dealing with some issues. He a great grandfather. You know, my nephews and them, I have no idea. He's Superman in them. So I just like that. I think it give a parent a second chance, you know, to be better, you know, a better grandparent than a parent. So I can't say total, you know. Some people be bad parents and be great grandparents later. Still got time.
It's too soon to assume like what the parents and like, 'cause I don't know what all Lou's gonna face and see and all of that to be saying like off the jump. Because I don't hear nothing but somebody dealing with what's going on in front of them. So, you know, dealing with the cards being thrown out, I can't determine nothing yet.
And the story told through a 6-month-old, right? How old is Blue yet?
5.
He's 5 years old right now.
That's like your little man telling the story. And then when Daddy
ain't gonna know half
what Daddy would.
Yeah, they don't know half the shit that went through. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He probably already threatened that next door neighbor kid 16 times already.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll tell you this. I love all of my grandkids. I love them. Now I like my kids.
Okay. I mean,
No, that's how it goes.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be a terrible, terrible grandfather. I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of them kids and not give a fuck. I will be unapologetic with my spoiledness. I promise you that. And I can't wait. Hey, shit, it does.
Get away with murder.
It does. I hate it. I hate it with my children. I hate it with them.
Where do we gotta hide the body? Where do we gotta hide the body, kid? Come on,
right now. They come over here and act like, and I consider myself a fairly good parent. But the grandparents judge us like we the worst parents on the earth.
We are.
Like, yo, they come in there, they like he ain't eat yet. Why he got on them clothes? It's cold outside. I'm like, we in the house. We in the house with shorts. It's cold outside. He shouldn't have shorts on. He in the house. He ain't outside. You know what I'm saying?
What you say, Rodney? You said they ain't eat yet?
They ain't eat yet. Yeah. Let them come over at 10:30 and my son ain't 8. Them niggas act like we ain't never treated them right. You know what I'm saying? They come over. They go, oh, poor baby. Come on. We're going to take you to Cracker Barrel now. We're going to get you some pancakes and all this shit. And they take his ass right to Cracker Barrel. That nigga come back. Ice cream, Cracker Barrel, all kinds of shit. Even a fucking toy. I don't give him none of that shit. When I take him to Cracker Barrel, I be like, look straight, nigga. Don't even go in the little general store.
Don't look nowhere, bro. This expensive shit.
Yeah. Go ahead and take your ass right to this damn menu. Now he go out with them.
$40
this nigga come back like he Richie Rich and shit.
Loaded up.
Hey.
Oh shit, man, you got me crying in the other way.
Yeah, then he be talking all fancy. He be like, "Father, I am so full with these pancakes. Daddy, I had pancakes with chocolate chips, whipped cream, even blueberries, Daddy. Chocolate chips and blueberries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be like, you little spoiled ass. And then he throw your ass under the bus. He be like, yes, grandparents, I am fathomed with food. I need to eat so badly. He gets like this English accent. I'm like, yo. Yeah, man. So, you know, yeah, that's so, yeah, that's, you know, but I want to be that exact grandparent. I want to do the same fucking thing. I want to come in there and judge the fuck away. You know what I'm saying? Come in here and be like, hey, I want to come in here. What is it? What do you have the temperature at? 72? That is way crazy. You should know. No. It needs to be 76 in here. What's going on? You trying to freeze my children? How do they sleep in this? You know? Yeah. I want to be that grandparent, 100%. Huh?
I said I'm looking forward to being a grandparent too.
Yeah. I want to comment on one dish in the sink. I pray it's one dish in there. I'm gonna comment my ass off. Like, God damn, do you wash any dishes around here? Like, what's going on?
It's so filthy.
Oh yeah,
You
like
talking about wiping all the time.
Oh,
Molly, you talking about
go get the Clorox out of the car. What is this? This isn't even Clorox. I'm gonna judge it all. I can't fucking wait.
You talking about me wiping all the time? That's why.
Louisa, what do you think of the chapter? You read it. What did you think of the chapter so far? And the Walter character and Ellen, the parents.
Well, the fact I'm not gonna go too far because I've read the book, but Walter again, he was dismissed. That's the biggest thing. He was dismissed, and it's because I know my daughter basically, but he's like, nah. Something going on. So, his insight was kind of dismissed. And it probably was because, again, it was 7, all the children and then now the grandbaby and they working and trying to tend to the household. But, yeah, when I first read it, I wasn't expecting for her to beat the crap out of her. But I think she beat her like that because, one, she was lying. Two, she was like, we are not about to keep playing these games with you. You still... Yeah.
That was the end of the road,
and
really.
She beat her. Don't forget that Patricia swung on her mama. A black mama.
Oh yeah.
You got to get beat like an adult. That'll be like Molly and Beast and the rest of you guys. You whooping your son and then your son throw a punch at you. Then you go like, wait a minute. I'm not your parent now. We're taking it to the street.
Yeah.
You gotta be you gotta be kind of mindful of the some of the questions too, because like she was saying, we already know what's going on. We just telling ahead of time, so you can't. Some of the stuff that you ask, like you can't say ahead of time what's going on. So it's kind of.
Yeah, that's why.
So you asking me about something, I'm telling what's going on if you acting a certain way.
I know. If I ever swung on my mother, I'd be glad to be alive after that shit.
I don't think I would be. I don't think I would be.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I would be.
Yeah, I'd be glad to be alive. Shit, my mom punched me in the face for telling her no when she asked me to cut the light switch off. I said no.
You know what those stars look like.
Yo, my mom was a big woman. I ain't never seen a big woman move that fast. She looked like a lineman from Detroit. Like she hopped up out of that bed and punched me right in my face. And then you want to hear the worst part? When she punched me in the face, she was right by the light switch. She still didn't cut the light off. She got right back in the bed and told me, now cut it off. That's what she said.
What you did? You was on that light switch like that.
Yeah, I cut that motherfucker off too. I cut that shit off. It went straight to the refrigerator and got an ice pack. I believe it. I ain't even think about calling Child Protective Service.
It wasn't none of that shit.
I got lied on by my stepfather, and my mother beat me with the damn broomstick. The wood broomstick.
Yeah.
I asked it from her, but I knew not to hit her. I just put that shit down and walked off because I was lied on. But all she heard was the story that he told. You know what I'm saying? She beat my ass. I said, look, I'm gonna take it. But I ain't gonna hit you. I don't care how much I'm wrong. You still my mother. I'm scared to death. If you gonna pick up a big ass wooden broomstick and beat my ass for something I ain't do, if I hit you, I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was no
knife throw it in.
My son was 15. He was participating in MMA at the time. This, that, and the other. I don't know how the beginning of the story went, but all I know is my wife went to grab him, and he grabbed her by her hand as he went to grab him. And now I'm gonna tell, according to my wife, she blacked out. Okay, and when he grabbed, but when I came up there, she had him in what's called a rear naked chokehold. And I was watching the light go away from my son's eyes.
Lord have mercy.
And I stood over top of him and I said, "You better not do a motherfucking thing." And he looked at me. At first, he looked at me with hope. And then I just watched the despair and he just come out his eyes because I wasn't helping him at all. And I watched him to the point he almost blacked out. And then I was like, "Vicky, okay, baby, come on, wake up. Come on, baby." And then she let him go. And he gasped for breath and got up. And then I said, "Vicky, you okay?" And she said, "No, that nigga grabbed my hand." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I think he learned this lesson." And then and I looked at him. I said, "Did you learn your lesson?" And he said, "Yes." And that was the end of that. That was the last time he ever, you know.
You threatened him too. She threatened him, and she beat him, and you threatened him.
I didn't threaten him. I just told him what he needed to hear. You better not do shit. You better let her choke you out. Let her go ahead and choke you out.
I got a question for you because we're talking about different generations and like corporal punishment for fucking children. Who is over 50 years old on this panel?
Everybody in.
I am.
Can you get to the question though, Damien? But that was your question?
Yeah, so but since we have these kids now and the kids give their grandkids like cell phones and shit, you know, and what Molly was saying earlier, and I don't know if anyone was paying attention to that, but I certainly fucking was. Yeah, we went back in the 90s and shit, in the early 2000s, it was like, you know, you babysit your kid by putting in fucking Barney. I love you, you love me, we're a happy yeah, right. And you get the dishes done, get the house clean, shit. Right. So what is it? What has that evolved into? Here's what it's evolved into. My kids give my grandkids a phone so they don't even have to fucking pay attention to them. And you know, when I grew up, your parents paid the fuck attention. Of course, they were worried about your safety, but the point was, if you're pissing me off in the house, go outside, do something. And I'm just saying, we've just evolved into this thing that is all about even what we're doing right now on this panel. We're using a cell phone to market each other and have a little bit of entertainment. So when you've got kindergartners that can use a cell phone better than you can, shit's getting real, man. I mean, that's when you just don't even care about your fucking kids. That's just me. Drop the mic.
No question for the panel. What was the question?
No question at all. Thank you. But go ahead, Joey.
If I can.
I got a comment too, but go ahead, Joey.
Again, were the days where they'd say, "Hey, wait till your father gets home." That was what happened in my house. My mom didn't discipline me. It was my dad. And I'll give you an example of what I was talking about before. I lived next door to me is a house, and there used to be a family that lived there, and the father left for some reason. He was out of the picture. I don't know if they got a divorce or something.
Wanted to get some milk or some cigarettes, usually.
Yeah, anyways, he was gone for several months. I never saw him. And I said to myself, even though this is a nice area town, I know how men are. That intuition is actually like, hey, I know I was like what I was like as a teenager. So I don't trust any teenager around my kids, my daughters, or my daughter. I'm not gonna trust any of them. And what happened in this house next door is I started noticing, people, young men going over there and more and more and more and more. Next thing you know, one of the daughters is pregnant because there was no man to basically say, look, you don't touch anything in this house. It's mine. And if you do, you better be ready for hell, because I'm going to put you through hell. Women who are living alone, I feel sorry for them because they're preyed on by men. So men have to be in the home to let the other men know, hey, this is off limits. Go somewhere else. That's where men's got to step up. That's it. Sorry.
Okay. I got you.
Amen, Joey.
Did you want to say what you was gonna say, Rodney? Or
I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
oh shit. Well, I want to ask. Why do we?
Reese don't know she muted. I don't think she talking, but I don't think she knows she muted.
I was saying that when we grew up, we got beatings by mother and father. Have y'all ever got a beating by your mother and your daddy came home and whooped your ass too? That was that kind of household that you know. Or if your mama whoop you, your mama whoop you, and your daddy whoop you, you get a couple of beatings in the day.
Well,
I got a question.
Go ahead, Trey.
I want to ask, why do we talk about the advancement of technology and what kids and all of that are given or what they have? And I don't know if it's necessarily putting the blame on that. Sometimes it seems like it is when I hear conversations, but y'all had the same technology. So whatever developed for us, developed for y'all at the same time. So why do we separate them with age and be like, because my child has this or because this is available or because it's around? We're all still being introduced to the same thing at the same time. I'm young enough to see the first pagers and the first cell phones go out and cars and phones and, rotary phones and all that shit. I seen dial up and all that shit too, but we had technology at the same time. There's nothing I didn't see that you didn't see too.
No, I don't have what y'all had at the same time. When I was coming up.
Well, I agree with you, Trey. Hold on. I agree with you, Trey. But see, Reese isn't raising a child in this age, in this generation that I am. You know what I'm saying? I have a 23-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. And, of course, the maturity level of myself is different. So I'm raising these two kids differently. But the other thing is technology. As a parent today, you're doing yourself a disjustice to you and your children if you don't understand or know technology enough to be able to, like I said, my daughter has a cell phone. I don't understand a parent that does not have access to their daughter's cell phone or their son's. You know what I'm saying? My son is 10. He does not have a cell phone, but he has a smartwatch. He has a smartwatch that I have 100% control of. He can only call the people that I put in his call log, and he can only receive phone calls from the people who are in his call log. You know what I'm saying? He can't just call anybody. He can't text. He can't do none of that stuff, but he can call in case of emergency. And, of course, it has a GPS system on it, which is made for what it is, that I put the safe areas he can be in. And the areas that if he ever goes in the areas that he should not be in, it alerts me. It lets me know that he is not in the area that he is supposed to be in. But then you also have to parents make sure that he is carrying the watch every day. You know what I'm saying? And there's many other things. There's tiles, there's air tags, there's stuff like that. But to me, it's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you why my son has this. My son knows why he has this watch. To him, it gives him the comfortability that, yes, I had to stop telling him, when you're in school, you're not allowed to call me to tell me that you don't like lunch. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me to tell me you don't like lunch. I ain't got time for that. This is for if you're in a real emergency. You know what I'm saying? Something is a real issue. Instead he's calling grandma telling them that he don't want the bean burrito. So, you have to control that too. You got to get him to understand what this technology is for. And I also told him he's not allowed to download games on it because it's not a game system. You know what I'm saying? That was the first thing that he wanted to do. So, but like I was saying, it's all, I agree with Trey, raising a child in this age, in this era, if you don't take the time to understand technology, then you are really doing, in my opinion, doing a very much a disservice to your child. Because if you just let them on YouTube and you're not sitting, you don't put parameters on it that know that there's a YouTube Kids and exposed to it regular YouTube, and don't enforce those things, like you have to do that. Now, my child knows that he is not allowed to watch regular YouTube. He knows he's not allowed to go on Instagram. He knows that he's not allowed to do these things. And if you don't have the knowledge to keep your kids away from that, then to be honest with you, you're the problem more than your kid is. So that's my opinion on
What
that.
you're doing is you're being proactive. You're being proactive, and that's where I felt the man in the story was. He was more reactive, like, oh, it's too bad that you're not going to get to be a pediatrician now because you've got 2 children on the way. Your life is kind of over. But you're basically saying, hey, I'm thinking ahead. Here's all the possible pitfalls that my son or daughter could fall into, and you're getting ahead of the game. And that's all I was saying is whether it's 50 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago, it's all the same thing, that fathers have to stay ahead of the game. They have to be proactive and not just sit back and watch. And that's what you're doing. That's great.
The hardest part is being consistent. That's the hardest part, because after a while, you actually want to just give the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But I hear you.
As a father of 4 biological and 4 adopted children, and my grandkids and all that, what I feel is important is that I set a standard. I set a precedent. Some people might not like this at all, and I really don't care.
I'm not going nowhere if I cannot
do
take
I
my
look
boy
like I give a
there.
fuck?
My mind was bred a little different, you're from my own past.
If you fuck up, there's consequences. But my grandkids, I will agree, they can get away with fucking murder, and I show them where to hide the body.
This weekend, y'all, I gotta show this Saturday. Rodney, will you and Vicky be able to come this Saturday?
Unfortunately, Vicky's uncle passed away. She'll be in Florida. I do get, when you're done, Reese, I just want one announcement real quick too.
Go ahead,
No, I want to, tonight I'm having, we talking about kids. My co-host, Matty I's son, has created his own animated series. Tonight we're doing a watch party of his. It comes out tonight at 8 o'clock. If you would like to join us, it's an open house thing. We're just going to come and have a good time. Send me a direct message and I'll send you a link. But I definitely want to celebrate this young man. He's not out in the streets. He's not robbing. He's not killing. He's not stealing. He's creating an art form that is new to him and learning something new. This kid is a designer. He's an artist. He's a rapper, and he's also made his own mini series. So, I definitely want to celebrate that and get as many people that I can to watch tonight at 8 o'clock. Make sure you check us out and even come join it. And even come join in, and we'll have a good time and watch it. Amy, I'm gonna say this nicely, but I'm good. I'm good. I don't need nobody who's gonna interrupt and stuff like that. When I have that kind of event out, you'll be the first person I call.
Did you get bingo?
Oh yeah, I definitely got bingo. Yeah. I already sent my money in. LA Preston got to cash out me my winning.
And I want to thank David Green for your donation to the Morning Mac Show. Thank you, Mr. David Green. David, wake up! So, help us keep the lights on and the stream yard. Oh my God! Wellness Wednesday tomorrow. We're going to talk about our financial wellness. And they get ready to go up on the tariffs and taxes. If you get the stuff out of stuff, did you see that? We're going to be a lot of places. I read the list yesterday. Who's going to put the stuff back on the customers? So if y'all ordering stuff, furniture and everything, y'all better get it now because they get ready to go up on the taxes. These certain companies, and I'm gonna have a list for y'all tomorrow.
It's gonna be everybody as soon as Trump get in. You know, the first thing he do is gonna raise them tariffs.
These companies, Trump ain't even in it. They start now.
Yeah, because they know it's gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. They already know it's gonna happen. That's the first thing he's gonna do. Where you think he get that money? He gonna get that from China. That's what he's saying. Yeah. Now China gonna help him build that wall.
I can't say that with these companies, because they've been doing this and these companies been going out of business. I can't say that even the airlines are going out of business. They filing bankruptcy. What?
Yeah, because Trump's gonna give them out. You gotta follow attention, man. That's what he do for all the huge businesses and stuff like that. Yeah.
They know who's going bankrupt. Frontier is scary. Going out of business. I'm like,
Trump's gonna bail them out. They're gonna get federal funding to get them out. Happening. They wanna listen. That's fine with me, but that's not
I need somebody to bail me out of this show that I'm having on November the 23rd, March the White Plains. Y'all come on out and support your girl. Help bail me out. We all we got, we all we need. Y'all get a ticket. Support the cause. Yes, sir.
I just have to say something to you, baby girl, and that is that second chapter touched my heart, and I'm very proud of you.